Okay.
I don't think anyone here has seen the Endura. But y'all will be able to relate to this product probably better than a lot of customers.
I've already got the bolts pulled out of that too.
You got that thing tightened down.
Well, that's the way my screws are on the spring deal. Shoot, I'm gonna have to undo them about 100 times just to work.
Pull this back out a little bit. You haven't seen this? I know you haven't seen
I
it.
saw
Have
it
you
at the
seen
show.
this?
Yeah. Yeah, you
probably
brought it. I
have.
think every time you came up there.
Yeah, I probably said, have you seen these? You're probably right. One of the things that we kept seeing was more and more of our customers wanting to buy software only. They didn't want to buy our dedicated data collectors. In the past, that's all we had. You bought a workstation or a handheld. It had our software embedded on it, so it was a dedicated SPC data collector. Well, finally, customers said, we want to buy just software and install our own on our own PC. And then naturally, is there a gauge port in here? Naturally, we wound up selling a lot of customers just software and gauge ports. Are you familiar with our gauge port? This is our gauge port product. Jose, I guess you've seen the gauge port product.
That's the
actually
gauge, the gauge
interface.
for two gauges.
That's for two. We also have one for
We're
4.
gonna be needing 8 for each one in a workstation.
That's great.
Our average equipment for each one of the workstations is 6 equipment.
Great.
So 6 gauges.
No problem. But we sold more and more customers software and gauge ports. So if you looked at our sales, it was just, and actually this product amounted to almost 30% of our total sales because we sold this to a lot of other software companies for them to package with their software. So what we did, we were going to go out and find a PC and buy it and then bundle it with our software and gauge ports to sell. We really couldn't find anything that really satisfied what our customers wanted. So we started doing some design work and engineering, and this is what we came up with. So it's literally a handheld 486 PC, which made it real neat with the built-in gauge port drawer, so everything's internal. So you can literally take this, load our SPC software or any other type of SPC software or any other application programs and go out and collect data. And we actually laid the keypad out to where it's still very simple to operate. You can run any DOS or any Windows program right from this simplified keypad. It's got built-in networking. It's got connectors for an external floppy, power, serial port, parallel port. It's got a PCMCIA card slot, so if you want to use a non-volatile memory card for transferring data, you can do that. There's also PCMCIA fax modems, wireless network cards, just all a big variety of stuff. It's got a built-in speaker and microphone, and it's got 2 ports, just PS2 ports for an external keyboard and a mouse, so it can become a full functioning PC. Okay? But this is actually referred to as being IP54 compliant, so it is shop hardened if you have any dirty environments or you have some rough handling. I mean, this thing, you can just beat on it, bounce it around. Even the screen's covered in plastic. The hard drive in it's shock mounted. So that's the Endura, just an industrial strength PC.
Want to go to a multi-port operation then, such as his application, when you have 8 ports, so you're
In that case, you'd come out with the one cable that would go into the backplane, and then the backplane would allow you to plug in up to four ports. So on one backplane, you could have 16 gauge inputs, and then of course you could add another backplane with 16 more to still get up to 32 gauge.
So you can do the same
inputs.
thing if you're using another PC.
That's correct.
That is not in the
Absolutely.
Endura.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's just
Yeah.
plate for stacking.
Exactly.
Gauge
So this is the hardware portion. We actually sell this product to companies, and they use it with other software. Some companies do things such as direct gauge readings into spreadsheets and things like that. So there's that possibility. We also sell it packaged with our software and gauge ports already. And then naturally, then we sell just the software and gauge ports to run on your own PCs. Okay. But if you ever need a portable PC, this makes a real nice, clean, small package.
John, you started to mention about IP54.
Mhm.
You might want to just elaborate on that a little bit. You talked about dunking it underwater. And
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar, in the US, I think everyone primarily uses the NEMA standard, if you're familiar with the NEMA standard. We went with the IP54 because we sell internationally and everything. But it's equivalent. The IP54 standard, for instance, says the product can take a spray mist from a 270-degree arc or angle around the unit. It can take this many drops and rough handling at this distance and stuff, so.
You'll notice on the front of this brochure, there's a picture that shows spray and on the other side some grinding to simulate the kind of treatment that it would get out in the shop.
Okay.
Do you get into any rough environments in your facility? Dirty?
Well, maybe dust.
Same as here.
Same as here.
Okay.
I got this actual, the LCD panel's actually loose, just to show you it can be taken completely off. When I take it off, you notice there's an alpha keyboard that was hidden underneath the screen. A lot of customers said, keep your keyboard simple. Another half said, golly, you've got to have alpha keyboard built into your unit. So what we did, we just set it up to where you can mount it in the low position or in the upper position. So you can use it either way. It makes no difference.
Upper position, it'd look like this.
So you
Lower
wouldn't
position,
have to have a keyboard.
comes
No,
all the way down. You don't
exactly.
have to. If you're typing a
Exactly.
letter or something, it's obviously a lot easier to type off of that than it is.
That's not an
off of
option
this.
on this thing, though. It's
It's standard.
every
It's
one of
standard.
them's got it.
Every one of them comes like that.
The high mount is an option though.
No,
No?
no.
It comes with the capabilities.
This is
There's
where you put
actually,
your screws in.
there's actually
Exactly.
3 holes. It's just where you put the screws in.
If you look and see, it has 3 mounting holes on each side, 2 mounting holes, so it would actually mount
And here are the
low
screws.
or high.
Okay, but what, you have
And
a
then
little adapter.
there's a little adapter that goes from this plug to the next. Yeah.
The other option is, if this is sold as a workstation, this is replaced with a 14-inch monitor, and there's no change in the price. So you can either have it like this with a 14-inch monitor, or with this, and do it like this. We also have done it before too, where you can
So-
run a full-size monitor and this monitor at the same time.
So like, if you have an operator who's inputting data
Mhm.
and you don't wanna give them a numeric code, but you want them to put their name in
Mhm.
so that you have history of who took the readings,
Mhm.
they could do that very easily.
Absolutely. You could just manually key it in. You notice this keypad before you put that
That
in?
one screw in.
Oh, let's take it out. What we did also, just surveying a lot of customers, we weren't sure how to lay the keyboard out. So what we decided on is to put it in alphabetical order. Majority of our customers said, "God, our people don't do a lot of typing or keying in of information, so they're not familiar with a normal QWERTY keyboard. Why don't you put it in alphabetical order, especially with something this small?" So it really works out real, real well. And they said, well, if we want a QWERTY keyboard, we can always plug one in the bottom. So that's actually how that's laid out, if you want to look at it closer.
One thing you want to be careful with, Wanda, letting the operators key in information. The guy's name is Robert. Today he's Robert, tomorrow he's Bob, next day he's RL.
I know.
And John will get into that a little bit in the demo, working off of pick lists and picking names off of a list or numbers rather than entering them in.
And, can you, bolt these things on or lock them in place so they can't walk off?
Yeah, you can, using this actual little pedestal mount. It also doubles as a wall mount or a machine mount. So there's one unit. And you notice if I turn this around, it's got a spot right here to put the battery pack and everything. But you can actually have this mounted, and you can mount this to where you can lock it in. We don't have an actual locking attachment, but we've got some customers that have locked them in place. That way there's no way someone can pick them up and move them or steal them. Yep.
Just need to get some of the fasteners like they have in the restrooms. You turn them in, you can't back them out, and pull these off and just substitute them, put them in, you'll be fine.
We'll make it move, and we'll go over and actually look at the software portion of things now. Just want to make sure that there's a strong distinguishing that we do sell software and we do sell hardware products. A lot of times when I go in and I show this product, they think, oh, it's an all-in-one package. If I buy the Endura, then I get this software. That's the only way I can get the software. But we sell the software, we sell the gauge ports, so you can buy pieces. You don't have to buy the Endura. I know you're mentioning you were going to use some PCs. You already have the PCs out there.
That's it, because
Yes.
you can save a lot
So
of
you're-
money. If you don't have the computer, you have to buy it. And depending on your needs, if you are having a very wild environmental,
Mhm.
then that's perfect.
Exactly. Or you have a portable application.
Yeah, portable applications.
We had a lot of customers that were using notebook PCs, trying to do portable data collection with them,
We have
going
an-
off-site and stuff, and it's really pretty cumbersome to do that.
How far
especially
can you go from the workstation to the application?
to the actual gauge?
Yes.
There are some limitations there depending on what you want to do. In a lot of cases, 50 feet probably is the limit, and in that case, we'd actually have to run the gauge port out close to the tool, and then the gauge port is powered, so once it gets to the gauge port, we can go 50 feet from the gauge port to the PC.
You miss any accuracy and at the time you get farther?
Not with that. If you get out further, you probably wouldn't even get the signal that
Sometimes
far.
we are talking about, we have some equipment that we are measuring 10,000. And
Yeah,
But it
that,
won't change the actual reading.
that's not
just won't
actually,
get the signal.
yeah, it just won't get the signal.
No transmission.
Now, the whole problem that you get into is with our software, it's written to be used as a real-time data collection software. So you have to actually select the part, you have to enter in traceability information if you desire, such as name, lot number, job number, things of that. So you're gonna have to at least get physically close to the PC to select that part.
what was it?
We wouldn't be able to just have all kinds of gauges throughout the plant, say in a 100-foot radius tied into the PC and just all day long sending stuff in.
Or you have a barcode system.
Yeah, but still, you have to be able to get close enough to the PC to get to the keyboard to select the part. That part has to be active on the screen to enter data into the software. Does that make
So you can only
sense?
transmit one instrument at a time,
Yep.
and each time you use a different instrument, you're gonna have to select a different file to input that data into.
Exactly. We'll go into the software and it'll probably make a lot of sense to you. As you can see, I've got a part example right up here. As you can see, it's much, much different than our DOS program. This is an example. This is probably the most simple input screen you could ever have in SPC. And if you look at this, this would be just a one characteristic part setup. And this kind of almost looks like a column out of a spreadsheet. So what this is actually representing would be one column, so that would be one characteristic, and then I have 5 rows telling me I have a subgroup of 5. Okay? I show you this because it makes a point that data collection in Windows can be very, very easy. First thing a lot of customers say is our operators have a hard enough time collecting data in a DOS program, much less Windows. What we did when we started writing this software is, number one, we said we've got to make it very, very easy, and number two, we need to design it to be used without a mouse, because out on the manufacturing floor, a lot of times mice aren't going to hold up, or there's just not enough desktop space to have a mouse out there too. So the design criteria was to be able to run this software program without a mouse. This is the normal user interface for an operator, so we designed it to be used. 63, we'll just do 60, we'll do 63 for the fun of it this time. 2502. 502. 63 and work with, okay. Go to page 4.
It just colored it yellow though, right? So it wasn't out of control.
Right. And
So
the
let-
nice part is being able to do it from these pick lists now.
Their site has about 600, so as long as it can handle that, you're all right, right?
It's all a function of hard drive. You put a 500 megabyte hard drive on the computer,
Sure.
One question, how
Yes.
does it affect to your server? I mean, we have a 2 giga server. That is the one we use in our network for everything.
Gigabyte?
2 gigabytes.
Mhm.
And can I connect the computer to the server
Mhm.
and keep the information in there? You don't need a
Absolutely.
separate
No.
server?
No.
Which
This
are the
is,
requirements?
this software will run on a network that any other Windows program will run on.
So you can have the Windows software and then load your so well the question is it comes with Windows software.
No.
No,
Say that
that's-
again.
That's Microsoft proprietary.
Say that again.
I mean when you buy the package
Uh-huh.
it includes the software package software you have to buy.
if you buy an Endura, it comes loaded with either DOS or Windows, you specify.
Yes.
If you buy our data collection software, it's data collection software, you don't
Yeah,
get Windows.
just like
You have
any.
to buy
you have to buy
Windows.
Windows.
Oh, yeah.
And you,
Gotcha.
yeah, and you also have it.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're buying standalone PCs, then you'll get it on your PC.
Yeah,
Sure.
You'll have,
Yes,
you'll
that's
have
true.
Windows
That's
already.
true. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's the
Is
same.
that, are
it's
you
the
gonna
same
tie
for
those
ours.
PCs into a network?
Yeah,
Eventually?
Of course.
They will be from the start?
Probably from the start.
Okay, what kind of network is it?
Land,
Nova.
no,
Yeah. Local area.
It was installed by you.
Right.
From
Well,
people from
yeah.
here.
this site, I mean.
I mean, by Keller.
You'd be down
By
right now if
Keller.
I installed it.
Would've never got
Not,
up.
not only
That's
that,
my
not only
point.
that, he can gets the file from here, from Texas
Mhm.
to the Caribbean.
Right,
I am working with it, and maybe he wants to know how the ultrasonic water is working. I can tell him. Take it from the computer.
One thing we-
he can load it to his computer from there.
I think one thing he wants demonstrated is management reports or whatever that he could get, and can he monitor this
Okay.
equipment from his office and see which, how any part number's doing, and what kind of big picture summary reports you can pull
Okay.
out.
And another question, how frequent do you need to load the database into the server? Do you have to do it real time right away, or you can do it once a day, once a week?
taking the data from here to the database?
From the PC
Uh-huh.
loaded to the server, so you can clean your.
You can set it up to where after you complete every subgroup, it would save that subgroup of data to the server.
But that will load down my system.
Huh? Yeah, you'd want to take that data and import it into the database regularly.
Yeah,
Once a day,
We do
once
it
every
once a
2
week.
days.
We
You
do
do
it
it once
once
a week?
Once a week is what we're doing right now, but,
You can save, even in this program, the file structure is identical to the DOS product, it's just in a comma delimited format. So they don't, it's not a proprietary data format, it's
Because
not
it-
that huge.
Do it all
In
hours
SPC, because
on
in
a daily basis.
SPC, you cannot load all the information and clean your computer because you need some historical data to
Right.
compare.
Right. Oh, when you can continue to run and run and run and run and never, ever get rid of that historical data. It can just run continuously there on the screen, because once you've taken, if you're saving the data to the network, you take the subgroup, every subgroup, once it's completed, it's sent to the log file on the server. But the plotting and stuff right here, that's all historical information.
So you can select how many subgroups you want to have on the screen.
To some extent,
Uh-huh.
to some extent.
Just when it
Depending
goes to
on-
the server,
Yeah, a
it
lot of
doesn't
it-
eliminate it from the PC.
Yeah.
Yes, when I load it to a server, I eliminate it from the PC. But
Yeah,
You don't have to
Well,
do
and bear
that.
in mind, that's not really taking up a lot of space there.
Mhm.
That's not gonna be a concern. That's just, you're gonna have you're gonna have a historical representation on the screens on the charts. But your data is actually saved to the network already. So you don't have to worry about going in and clearing historical data here. That would not be a concern because of space or memory problems.
Okay.
Our only, in this package now, is it saving at the RAM on each point now? We still battle that issue out here. If the PC is turned off or
Uh-huh.
unplugged or something, we lose what was in RAM unless they physically go and save to RAM, and I haven't been able to get Gage Talker to
Say
write
that
directly to
again,
RAM.
if the PC,
If the PC is unplugged, you lose power to the PC.
Right.
The data that was collected from the last time you physically saved to RAM and the time that you were unplugged, that data is lost
are
from
you
real
saving
time.
to RAM? You're not
Uh,
saving to the disk?
Yeah, we're saving to the disk, but it's not saved in RAM unless you physically go in to the exit screen, I believe, and say save, and you say yes there, then it saves it to RAM.
Saving it to your hard drive.
No, it writes to the hard drive every time.
Right.
It defaults to the hard drive, but it's the RAM that we have a problem with. And when the power goes out, when they bring the system back up, we've lost maybe 3 days worth of information on the RAM, but it's not showing up historical information.
Oh.
And I've talked to Gage Talker about that before, and I'm just wondering, the same thing I guess would probably happen here, in the fact that if the PC does lose power, or, as a matter of fact, when I go out of the real time into the data page, if I don't save that leaving, when I go back into real time, that information's gone too. I've got to save to RAM, make a definite step to save to RAM before I exit real
So
time.
you've got all your data that's saved.
It's in the
to your disk.
GT3,
Yeah, you've
yeah,
got that
file,
saved.
yeah.
But your historical representation's gone
It's
if you have a
gone.
power outage.
Right, right. And,
Yeah, that.
you know, that's
That,
kind of the same look I've gotten
that-
before when,
That would be gone.
yeah.
Just,
Yeah. And I
because
was,
that takes a huge file. When you do an exit, when you do a normal exit, it takes and saves that to the image file,
right,
but it doesn't
To
save
bring it
that.
from there? No, you have to
Oops,
plug
sorry,
this
right.
one,
right.
so I can plug it here.
That historical file becomes quite critical a lot of times for production's
Right.
needs, and that data sometimes isn't there, or it's kind of, you've got to be careful because you may miss a week's worth of production, and the data that you're looking at really is from the previous run, not from the most current.
What did they say about that? Do you know?
Will kind of said, no, it doesn't do that, and that's kind of, I mean, there is a function there to save,
Right.
but
then it's
I
gonna
just
save-
wanted it to just automatically do it every time we would write into the RAM to go ahead and save it. Then I could close out if RAM becomes full or something like that. I can close the part out and we can start over again.
See, that's why you need the Endura. Then you've got a battery backup. Power goes out, you just keep going.
Yeah, and they don't sell battery backups for any other PCs.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, don't you have a UPC
It
there?
still doesn't help when you, well, yeah, we got a UPS on it.
Do you?
But they unplug the UPS sometimes too. It's just-
Right.
Is there a way to come back and off of your hard drive, reload that historical data?
Yeah, not in
There
RAM.
there actually is.
Okay.
But it's
Not.
not easy to do. But yeah, you can do that. You can take historical information from the log file and you can put it back on the charts. So you want to save to the disk,
Well, it's
but
saving
it'd
to
be a
the-
nice option to have it set up to where every 15 minutes save the
There you
image
go.
file
There you go, yeah.
automatically.
Yeah. There you go.
Just like if you were doing something in a spreadsheet, you could
Right.
have it auto-save every 10 minutes.
That would be fine.
Just to do an
There's another case where you're gonna
auto-save
need
the image.
486.
Huh?
That's another case where you're gonna need the 486.
Yeah, if you could do an auto-save the
Well,
image
the
file.
286 handles it just fine. I mean,
The
it's
saving?
Yeah, it doesn't take any, couple of seconds.
It's not gonna be fast. I guess it would be, it's not gonna be.
Huh.
But that's a problem that I have here, and I battle it all the time.
Yep,
And
I can see that. I can see.
you guys can.
I'm gonna find out, I'm gonna see if we can do an autosave. We've done some things to where when
How long does the battery backup last on that you do this?
this running Windows probably about 3.5 hours.
And it recharges itself as it's
Uh-huh,
running?
yep. It's recharging right now as we're sitting here. Just to give you some ideas what else is going on, right here, if you wanted to go back and look at information, for instance, we're on subgroup 77. And you notice right here, you could say, well, yeah, I've got a little lightning bolt on my chart right there. What that lightning bolt is, that's the symbol that we use for a process event. So you know something has occurred right there at those subgroups. What I can do is jump back on my chart, once again, mouseless. So all I'd have to do is page up, and it would page back one subgroup at a time. Or I could do a control page up, and it would jump 10 subgroups at a time. And you notice you have the little bar right there that shows you where you are. So you could say, oh, I need to back up one more time, so I would just page up. There's your data. Then all you'd have to do is pull it up and say, oh, I changed the gauge right there. Because I can, at any time, as we discussed, go in and tag the data with anything. It doesn't have to be a control alarm situation. You can go in at any point and
So
make a
each shift,
traceability
you
change.
can go in there and tag a shift change even though your points.
That's
And that'll
correct.
put a little lightning bolt there.
That's correct.
Now, is there still, I can't see from here, but is there still a black square on the points that were out of control? That goes across?
Right here?
On the actual data point, any data point that's out of control? Is it on the other software, it leaves a hollow square, right, when it's good, and a solid square
Oh,
when
okay.
it's out of control?
Not actually on this chart, it will not. It just puts, it'll put a lightning bolt for a process event tag. But it actually doesn't have a, they're all dots.
Okay.
I think just because,
Full size.
yeah,
Full size.
let's go look at that.
This one,
Page 4.
So if you do have an out of control condition, I guess what you want to be able to see is that there was some action
How many out
in
of-
response to that
what,
out
yeah,
of control
yeah.
condition.
Here's the full-size control chart right there.
look at that one for a second.
So using, you see I've got quite a few points on that screen.
Yes, some that are out of control.
Right there. These would all have tags.
But tag
There's
doesn't mean
really-
out of control
Yeah, there's really
necessarily.
none out of control on here.
Why is this dotted line?
Oh, I've got this set up
Moving range.
to where I'm using data limits, and it and I have it set up in this case to automatically recalculate every 5 subgroups.
Oh, okay.
And the reason because it seems like every customer wants to
It's
do
a
that.
moving
so-
range.
Which is
Moving
good.
range?
Can you
Not
do-
necessarily what would be referred to as an individual X and moving range chart. It would just be a data limits calculation and
Every
have
time.
it automatically, in this case, you can see it got up to this point, 20 subgroups, and then it took the first 20 and calculated some starting control limits, and then every 5
It's
recalculate.
based on the last 5.
Right. So it's adjusting your control limits after every 5 subgroups in this case.
Something impossible to
And that's
do
all,
by hand.
that's all definable by
Yeah,
you, how you
possible.
set it up.
Can you change one of these, go back and change the data to an out of control point?
I certainly could.
And then see if it does, leave it as a square, solid square or something?
Let's see, how about subgroup 62, just for the fun of it? Well, let's do subgroup 65. Let's just page up one. There's subgroup 5. Let's do the top bore, and we'll just say that'll be, that would be so far off the chart. We won't do that.
Point,
Do 0.6 or something.
0.5 or 0.05, we'll take you out of there.
Point.
502.
502.
Let's see a red one.
Okay.
Now, let's take us off the chart.
Yes, it
Now go to the big screen.
Let me move over. Yeah, it's completely off the chart
Yeah,
here.
you have to
Can't see it.
But it,
Let's go back there.
change it slightly.
Do that.
but it didn't leave a lightning bolt on that point
No,
either.
only,
No,
only
no.
with data
Okay.
that's tagged with
Okay.
information. If I go back, which subgroup was that we messed with?
62.
That's-
Part F7.
Right, hold it right there before
Okay.
you select. This part list now, is this always in the same order? Or does it, depending on which part you're running and when you close out, does it put it somewhere else?
This
Is
order,
there-
this order will stay the same.
that order will always
Okay.
stay the same.
One of the things that we can do, this is really neat. I think this is probably the neatest concept. Here it is. I'll just use this as an example. What you can do, for instance, you have one of the PCs operating in a certain area. You could have it to where when you fire that PC up, it would automatically load into our program, very simply. But it would also load what we call a workbook. I don't know if you're familiar and you've used a workbook in any Windows applications. But
Excel.
what you can do is you can have a workbook, and think of a workbook as being like a 3-ring binder or some kind of binder right here. And you can have up to 30 part documents in a workbook. So it would automatically load in a particular workbook. So if you run a lot of the same parts over and over, the operator does not have to go in and manually select, open this part, open this part, open this part. It would automatically load in a workbook, so it would load in all those parts, up to 30 parts per workbook. And this basically is bringing up a list of everything that's in this workbook.
So our DOS program right now, we were forced to go to the barcode because of the fact that we had so many parts to
Right.
choose from.
Right.
That there just wasn't any order. They had to search.
Right.
Each time we would go and run or select a part, we had to search for that part number is why we went to the barcodes. So in this application, we don't,
Yeah, and for.
we're gonna run into the same problem there. If we had, let's say, 50 or 60 parts on here, we're gonna have the
We'd
same
have to
difficulties.
Scroll through them.
Yeah, I don't
every time.
think.
But as long as they're in
Baron,
numeric
yeah.
order, because they weren't on the DOS, they could be anywhere.
Right. If you went, naturally, this is gonna be everything that's in the workbook that's
Mhm.
open.
Mhm.
And you can have up to 30 parts here, okay, in
But-
a workbook.
But if I
And you
close
have-
that
Now,
and then reopen it again, it may or may not be in the same spot. is all
no,
I'm trying-
that's all gonna be in the same order.
Okay.
That workbook order, when you create the workbook, as you load them in whichever order,
Mhm.
is the way that they're gonna stay.
Okay.
Now, when you exit this program and then come into it the next time, it will automatically pick up where you left off. So if you were working on this part and you exited the program and you go back into it, it's gonna come up on this part.
One question, to be sure that I understood this.
Okay?
What I understand that they do is that if they want to load a particular part number, they don't have to go to the keyboard. They only take the pencil and read it on the barcode, and
Right.
right away you have everything on the screen.
Right. One of the things I need to let you know, though, the Windows package is not supported by barcode yet.
It's not?
It is not, for a couple of reasons. Time element of getting that portion of it fixed. One of the things that we're gonna introduce next month at the quality show is a touch screen, to where you can operate the software with your finger. It'll be a true touch screen option, to where you can do that as opposed to using a mouse
Let me tell
or
you what.
barcode. A lot of, yeah,
Let me tell you what is the problem we have. Most of the operations, part numbers, part numbers is easy because they are numbers.
right.
But the way we were thinking about implementing the system is having a part number, a list of codes that related to the part numbers and the measurements that are going to be taken. For one particular part number, sometimes we take it down around 4 and 5 different measurements. So what we are planning to do is to have for these part numbers, these measurements, they have different codes and they are in the barcode level system. So what they do is that they have on this workstation, the machine they use, they have all the variables they need to measure. So what we were planning to do is to have barcodes for each one of them and say, this is number 10, this is 11, this is 12, and then what do you want to measure? This one, this is 12. So you go there, what is the 12? This one, you read it.
You wanna be
have
able
it
to,
right
you
on
wanna
the
be
screen.
able to select which characteristic
Yes.
on the part.
Not only part numbers, also I want to manage it individual measurement as part numbers, different part numbers. So I don't have to choose between part numbers and within part numbers which measurements I need to. So I need to simplify it as much as I can because it's very dangerous for me that they select a different part number and measure one part number with the specs of the different part number, and then we have cows in the system. You see, so the barcode system for us is in this case important. I don't know if it's just, touching the screen is it gonna be doing the
The
same.
way, the way the software can work for you is if you have different characteristics, you can select numerous characteristics within each part number.
Uh-huh.
Now, the problem that we run into with that type of application, let's say you have an instrument go down and you're deciding that you're not going to run that particular instrument or something like that, and it brings up that screen and says it's waiting for an input. You've got to have some way of getting through that and identifying those as where the equipment was not used or the measurement was not taken. But I think what you're trying to do is probably a little more complex if you have the same measurements for that one part that you're going to make for each part, okay? Because you can go in to a single part number and it will tell you exactly which measurements you took, whether it was width, depth, or whatever the measurement, whatever you call it, and then you can select any one of those as far as pulling up the data. Because I think what you're talking about, you're going to have 4 times as many barcodes as if you just had barcodes just for the part number, and then within the program for each part number, you would have the individual characteristics that would say this one is depth, this one is height, this one is width. So I think that if you wanted a barcode for each different measurement you made, you're making it a little more complex than,
Well, he has
than
in
it
our
really should be.
system. We have like how many hundreds of different measurements we take there. It's not easy. You
So
can go to a product line. We have 35 different workstations operations, and each one of those operations have SPC. And we measure all the part numbers, and maybe all the part numbers we take the same measurement, but for different part numbers. Or maybe we have 3 different part numbers, and each one of these 3 different part numbers, they have 3-4 different characteristics to be measured, and they are totally different. So we have 12 in total.
So you're concerned about the operator selecting the wrong part?
The wrong part or the wrong characteristic.
You know, I don't think the characteristic would be a problem, would it?
Well,
Or would it- if it-
for part number 19A, you can measure depth, length, and maybe thickness.
Mhm.
Just like top, bottom, and
That's
and
it.
bore on there. See, you just set that up where every time you call
So
that
if
part
you
number-
select the wrong one, if you select depth
Now bear in
and you
mind-
measure length,
Well, we have parameters, the reasonable limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, if I tried to key something in, just like if I go back to this part, I think there should be something. If I tried to key in something like that, I get a warning. It says 125 is outside the reasonable limits I specified. It should be between this number and this number. Do you wish to accept this value? All I would do is say no, and you can't input it. So if I'm measuring this, if I'm measuring your business card, and I'm supposed to be measuring the thickness, and for some reason I try to measure this length, it would not input that. It would give me this warning right there.
you can set that up to where there's
Because
no
they
way
are-
they can accept that though, right?
That's correct.
because they are totally different.
Yeah.
If they are similar,
As long as your
then you have a
measurements
problem.
Yeah, if they're
are-
real similar, you could have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt. If they were very, very close.
But they could also scan the wrong dimension too, find the wrong.
That's
But
what
not
I'm
only,
saying.
what I care is not only if they made a mistake, because if you work on the source, if you make it simple,
Mhm.
just so the people will not have a high probability of making a mistake,
Right.
then you have to worry about it.
Right.
By having the system, they have a barcode,
Mhm.
you have a high percentage of accuracy that they are not gonna be taking the wrong one, because you have they know they're gonna be measuring the part number 20, and they barcode it, they don't have to tell you.
Yeah, one of the things I'm gonna do is check and see about barcode with this software. Like, as I mentioned, it's not available currently.
But
I think I talked to
could
you
see-
about that.
But I can see so many ways around it. I mean, there's lots of ways. One of them is when you pick out of your workbook the part number you want to run, the first thing it does is bring up the image, if you're going to put images in, of the part number and say, verify part with image and hit OK.
That's true. I
And
mean,
now
you
you
can-
know that you got the right part number, you
Yeah.
got it in
Sam,
database.
while we're talking
Wanna-
about that too, John, jump over to that part that's got that IMS on it.
Yeah, one of the things you can do, well,
In
let's,
fact,
yeah.
I'd load a photograph of it, that way you.
We can show you that too, we've got
One
one
of
of
the,
those.
one of the things you can do, you can have instructions on one page. You could have a drawing on the next page, or a photograph even.
There you go.
Scanned in. Page 6 is a drawing.
And these are all can be pages within the part number to help the operator know what
They
he's
would
gonna
all be
measure.
within there.
Go back to IMS.
This is a neat one too. Let me show you this. You could actually have a drawing right here, somewhere or another, linked to, and you could have the dimensions spelled out right there. I just put some statistics relating to each
Yeah,
dimension.
it's gonna take a while to set up these, isn't it?
It would, yeah, the more complexity, the more it takes.
But
this-
all these pages we're
I'll show
showing you,
you,
you
I'll
can
show you how
create.
quick it is in a
Sure.
minute though.
Yeah,
So
it's,
I can arrange it to have 3-4 screens that they have to go through, mandatory.
All the way down the bottom, you can have them
You
step
can have
through.
up to 9 pages
So
right here.
I will say I want them to run this
I'm
pages.
not gonna force them to go from page 1 to page 2 to page 3. It'll be there.
Uh-huh.
You know, it could come up and they would have to look at it.
Yes.
There's not any way to say you can't continue until you look at page 2 and page 3.
Well, you can
And then go
train them to
page
do
4.
so.
Sure.
oh,
Very
sure.
easily. But no, you put something like this up there, when you go into the part, they're there. And then if they say, well, let me look at the drawing to confirm, that's the drawing, those are the specs, then you could have a photograph of the part actually.
And it's being gauged right there too, so they see the tool that they use to make the measurements. But again, John, go back to the IMS. Jose, in this sheet, it's basically an inspection method sheet where it
Mhm.
tells the
Workstation.
operator what to measure, how many pieces per hour, half hour, what fixture to use. And
Quality-
It's right
quality
there,
plan.
right there.
Exactly.
That's great.
I wanna see the photo on this.
I like that one.
What you said.
How do you put it there? Do you scan it?
Do what?
Scan
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, that's
Digital
scanned.
image.
You can take a digital camera,
Mhm.
like the Apple camera, and take pictures.
Yeah. Like our one hooked to our scope
Mhm.
image analysis.
But that's pretty easy to do, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, now it is.
We definitely want to link them though, cause that could really add up memory.
Yeah.
And one of the other things down the road is video clips. You could actually have a screen containing a video clip.
Mhm.
Something like that would actually have to be linked.
Linked,
I mean,
yeah.
it would just be impossible. Not impossible.
Yeah, for
You did it
example,
more
a
than
picture in
few
the smart
times.
scope, that's 3/4 meg. If you save an image to the hard drive on the smart scope that we sold out here, that's 3/4 meg of memory for one
So it
pixel.
adds up fast. Let's go back to this part. And I'll just show you because normally, let me go ahead and finish taking that. Normally, what you would do is you would enter traceability information, such as who the operator is. Say in this case, it's Mary, and she's on the day shift, and then lot number DTR 456. Okay,
What is,
tab to OK.
how many operators can you input in on the system? Is it,
How many?
well, as far as to be able to select, in that field
I'd have to look and see now.
Did
how
you
there?
have
But
a
it's more
limitation
than,
on
more
dots?
than 20?
Yeah, it's.
Which is kind of what we have right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it- is it-
Actually, you're limited to 16.
That's a- that's an
Is the DOS still 16?
That's an
It's just the way that
important-
we wrote the
that's-
software originally.
That's a good question because in our case, we're gonna be putting out the operators to do it.
Mhm.
So maybe you will have 20, 15,
Yeah.
10.
It's unlimited.
Right.
It's a
Finger. Another thing that we did is we actually incorporated all of our DOS keystrokes into the Windows package. So for those customers that have been using our DOS package and they know to hit F1 through F10 for these particular functions, they can operate the same way in Windows, which makes it very, very nice. Okay. I'll just take a couple of readings. Run through here and grab a reading, wake up. Wanna wake you up?
Okay, hold on.
Hold on there a second.
There you go.
I know why I clicked on the mouse before, so I just needed to finish up. This is really kind of neat because the operator says, oh, it's either green for good or red for bad, out of spec. You can set your warning limits also, and wherever you set those warning limits at, if you fall within that area, naturally that would be a yellow area. Okay? The neat thing about Windows 2 is it also tells you which tool to use and which port that tool is plugged into. So you can describe however you want to describe which measuring device you're supposed to use at that point. If you notice right here on the screen, right down here at the bottom, we use the page tab layout, so it makes it very, very simple for an operator to say, oh, yeah, I'd like to, let me go ahead and take one more reading. Show you what happened right here. I wasn't looking at a control chart or anything. I wasn't doing live charting. But if I do have an out-of-control situation, it'll automatically, if you choose to use assignable cause, throw up your control alarm. It tells you what rule you violated. You could have put some instructions right in there, just like you do in our DOS software. And then it will automatically show you a control chart. And then you can either enter event information or then just continue. I'm just going to say, in this case, continue right now. Okay?
John, do you have the capabilities as far as for a person to elaborate on their comments? Are we still fixed with a set number of responses?
We actually, in this version, it's almost unlimited as far as how many options in Windows. But we have changed that in the latest release. There will be, you can enter freeform text because customers said we've just got to do that.
All those improvements you're talking about,
Mhm.
are they available?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the latest
This-
latest version has all of them. Everything except for the attributes.
There's going to be a new version of this in about a week that's coming out with a few little changes, like being able to enter freeform text
Is
in
that-
process event fields and stuff.
Is that one including the attribute?
Do what?
Is that one, the latest one you're talking about, includes the attributes?
Well, that'll actually be two separate packages.
But he's
If you-
saying,
if you think
in the
about it.
next release is the way we talked before, the next release is gonna have the attribute capability.
That will actually be still two separate packages. There'll be a new release of the variables only package, and then there'll be a release of the attributes add-on, if you want to think of it as something like that.
So if I buy it in 2-3 weeks, I'm gonna have the attributes and the last release of the.
That's correct.
The variable.
That's correct. That's correct.
So right now they don't have the attributes.
They don't even have this
DOS.
product.
They have
Well, we
DOS.
have
DOS.
DOS. We do
Okay,
have
the DOS.
attributes.
You have attributes.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this is the old DOS version.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So the latest one, the one is going out next week. Attributes are gonna be included.
Well, it's still going to be two separate things because we're going to offer the customer a variables only package like we have now,
Mhm.
or you can buy the variables and attributes.
For $200
That's-
So it'll be priced
more.
out. It'll be priced out separately.
Okay.
Variables only or variables with attributes.
This,
Okay.
this quote
So you
does
can
not have
buy
attributes
each.
on it at all.
Okay.
It's,
You
it's
can
not
buy-
available yet, I don't have anything it's not available, so it's not on the quote.
Okay,
We'll
well,
have to
this,
add that.
but it's going to be, because I would like, the one I need is.
It's variables and
is-
attributes.
Yes.
Yeah, totally understand that. Exactly.
Yep. The new version, as far as on this text-centered comments, can they do that even in a green condition where it will be
Mhm.
accessible
Oh,
to them
absolutely.
at any time?
Anytime they want, they can add a process event
This
tag.
is the software,
Anytime.
really
Anytime whatsoever.
and it's gonna be 200 more for the attributes. And then you gotta see whether it's cheaper to do this per station for how many you're having, or getting, depending on how many workstations, it's this price per unit, or total.
Yeah, we can go over some of that. And
This is for 4 stations, this is for 8 stations.
Right,
We're talking about this one.
for 8
Because I have,
stations.
I have 80 stations.
No, well, you said you
You know,
needed
four stations.
Four stations.
4 stations.
Yeah.
If we look at the screen though with the page tab layout, here you're looking at, one of the things a lot of customers said is we don't want to do live charting. Well, in the past, we didn't have to do live charting in the DOS package either. You just got a little reading on the screen or box. Here, it's as simple as paging over to another page to see a control chart or statistics or histogram. And you can actually have up to 9 pages with each part document. So for instance, page 2 is set up as an X bar and R chart. So all I have to do is hit Alt 2. There's my control chart. If I want to look at a histogram, I'd go Alt 3 to page 3. If I want to look at statistics, there's my statistics. If I want to go back to my input screen, there I am. So that's how easy it is moving around in this Windows. Page 2, back to page 1. Pretty quick,
Can you
pretty
do it
simple.
again?
Very simply, if I'd like to look at statistics, I could go to page 4. If I want to look at a control chart, go to page 2. Go back to the input screen, back to page 1, very, very quickly. Now, if I'd like to collect data on a different part, all I'd have to do, this keypad right here is actually labeled. All you have to do is hit F7, which is the same keystroke as is in the DOS package. All you'd have to do, you have the select part menu. You could say, oh, I'd like to collect data on this part. Now we've loaded in a new part. And as you can see, this screen's a little bit more complex. Here we're going to look at a control chart and a histogram, and that's of the active characteristic you're on. So we'll plot those both at the same time.
That's the drawing of the measurements you are doing.
That's correct.
So that's the one you don't have.
Right
We can't
here,
do this.
for
Huh?
instance,
You
here's-
cannot do it.
Here's my input grid. So now I have 3 columns. I'm going to measure a top bore, a bottom bore, and a width.
How do you draw this? This is you have to scan it, or you can draw it.
Oh, the drawing here?
Yes.
Numerous different ways you can put that in. You could hand draw something out. You could scan a photograph or something
Keyboard
in.
with the mouse, you can draw.
Yeah, but it would actually be done in a separate package.
Paintbrush
And
or
then, exactly, you could go into any drawing program.
So that's not included in the quotation.
Uh-huh.
Yes. It
Well, the capability's there. You still have to, somewhere or another, draw your pictures. If you want to draw a picture,
Uh huh.
you could draw that picture in any Windows drawing program.
Put an ASCII file, then send it there.
It doesn't even have, it won't be an ASCII file.
Just copy.
PCX?
All you'd have to do is embed it. Just,
Let me say it this way. I have for example,
uh-huh.
outer sketch. I went drawing into outer sketch because
Right.
We have files for all the parts we need in outer sketch. So I can pull that file and put it there.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Without
All you'd have to
major-
do, you could either copy it to the clipboard and paste it in this application,
Mhm.
or this is an OLE 2.0 compliant program. I don't know if you're familiar with the OLE. It's Microsoft Object Linking and Embedding version 2, which would allow you, if you were running our software on a network of PCs,
Mhm.
you could create, for instance, a help file
Mhm.
in Microsoft Word, any other OLE 2.0 compliant program. And then you could actually link it to this application. One of the reasons you would want to do that is because now you have a help file, some type of a process inspection sheet or something that you created as a document in Word. Then it's linked to this program. Now if you go in and make a change to that original document, this what's referred to as the source document, you make the change. Now the next time the operator brings up this part and actually goes in and looks at that help file, he'll be accessing the most recent copy of that document. So there's no need to go back in and change things within our program. It's actually linked. It also, if you have big picture files or things like that, it doesn't add to the size of our application because the actual pictures would stay in the source application and it's just
You
linked.
just lose the time of connecting the link each time you pull up the part
Yeah.
number.
I mean,
Probably wouldn't be much.
when you link something, there's a little bit of an added size to the file, but very little. Not like embedding or pasting, for instance, a drawing or picture into that application. But it's real neat because if you have a sketch or a drawing, you go in and change it. Now the next time the operator goes in and looks at it, he's going to have the updated drawing automatically.
What we'll do too, Jose, when we finish with the demonstration, then we'll go over the quote. We'll go through each page and tell you what everything is, and that way it'll make more sense to you rather than going to the quote and back to the demo and back to the quote. It'll make more sense.
One question, I need to tell you that the education level for the people we have is not that high.
Right.
So as less we can make them work to do to use the system better for us, less
Right.
mistake they need to
Right.
make. Which one, for example, if they need to load a database, work with a piece, and they have to make some measurements, which one is the best screen that they can use without keep punching on the keyboard? I mean that they can measure it, load it with a pedal or something like that, and then to see the results right away and to see if there is
One of the things you can do, you can sit down, you could take a piece of paper and say, this screen would be the best screen for us. And we can create that screen right here in this program, because I haven't shown you that yet, but each one of these screens, you can see how much different this screen is than the last one we looked at. I mean, last one we just had a big input grid box. So you can see we added a lot of complexity to this. You design and you can choose how you want these screens to be laid out. It's completely designable by you.
So I can create subroutines that I can by hitting a function I can do a lot of things without making a lot of changes.
Describe to me. You're
Okay.
talking about some kind of a macro type thing.
Yes.
For instance, what?
For example, I want an operator only to see that screen,
Mm-hmm.
and then with hitting one keyboard, then take the measurements and hit another one, and that's all. You load it and you have the
Actually,
results.
once you create that part setup, it will walk them through exactly what they're supposed to do. And they can't really deviate from that.
Okay, so it's gonna be easy for them to learn.
Yeah.
And
Watch this, for example. If I look at this screen, here I'm looking at the top board, right here, and it says measure that. I've got this set up just as demo mode to where it's gonna generate some random numbers. Now the screen's updated, and it says measure the bottom board. So I would take my reading from my gauge, it updates, it goes to the width, and then it automatically goes back to the top board. Now take the second reading. Okay? Ooh, I have an out of control situation here. And this is where you can tag the data with all kinds of process event information. So you could say enter event information, one finger still, and it comes up, and you'd say, oh, I had a worn tool. So the action that I took was to replace the tool, and then maybe I made an adjustment to the machine. Okay? So now that's going to become a permanent part of that record. And this is also new to the Windows package. We can apply this information just to this particular characteristic or to all the characteristics on that part. So you decide. You actually apply the scope to one particular characteristic or to all. Okay?
John, in this program now, if we were to go back and select another part, can you do that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll just move along. If we want to look at a different,
I was curious as to whether it would it show that point with a lightning bolt then if we went into a cause file and gave a reason?
Absolutely.
Then it would,
Yeah.
okay.
if I went back to, say, subgroup 60 right there. F4. Broken tool. Voila. Now I filled that in.
Okay.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell that there was a lightning bolt
Yeah.
coming out, but there is. Okay. Now the neat thing is here I've been playing around, and if you want to go back to data collection and resume, you'd go up to data then hit the item, or I know just to hit F6, which would resume right where you left off. If you wanted to look at that manually, you could just run over to data and see where it says continue, or you could hit F6.
Can you change the menu to Spanish?
We are working on it, and it should be finished here pretty quickly.
How quick?
How quick? I called again, we're doing a lot of business in Mexico now. I've spent 2 weeks in Mexico this year alone already. But I cover the whole country of Mexico, and of course, that's one of the requirements at a lot of companies, is that it has to be in Spanish. It's funny, in certain areas of the country, they don't want it in Spanish.
So-
You get down to at least Mexico City, and primarily
So
every
that's
company
gonna
there.
take a long time. There's no way, when you create your own screen, maybe you're gonna be part of,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna keep getting into that.
Yep.
You can create your own screen, but still the menu is gonna be in English.
The menus will be in English
So you
currently.
can write-
That we will have that in Spanish.
So that's not gonna be ready for at the time we buy it. That's gonna be an upgrade for me.
Possibly not. Do I?
At the time I have it, it's gonna be an upgrade for me, so I need to buy the latest.
Yeah,
But what
if,
if we-
if, if that was a holdback,
But
we
you
would
can
upgrade
still
that at no
use our
charge.
data sheet
Really?
that we
Yeah,
do.
oh, yeah.
You're not looking at a lot of money anyway, Jose, on keeping current on the software.
I've got a customer in Mexico that went ahead and bought the software,
Put it in there.
and we wrote it up that we would upgrade them to the Spanish
$150.
version.
I mean,
a
eventually
year
we would want
to stay current on the software.
Spanish version,
$50,
automatically.
you can upgrade on
$150.
to the latest one.
$150 a year keeps you current on the software, so you're not.
Every year.
Each year you pay, yeah.
You pay each year and then you get the upgradable one, the latest one,
Yeah.
every time. So good.
Yeah,
So you
bear in mind, that's,
And then throw the
on a
paperwork.
Spanish version, we
Except
made that
for-
commitment to
And we
other
have to
companies
just
in Mexico.
assume,
If they wanna buy this now, they want the Spanish version, as soon as we get it, Spanish version really is not that hard to do. Time situation,
Okay, so there you go.
and really demand. We haven't had up until this point a lot of customers saying we've gotta have it in Spanish. For the longest time, we were working in northern Mexico, and no one wanted it in Spanish. You go to Monterey and Chihuahua and places like that, they don't want Spanish software. They prefer it in English.
But most of Mexico is bilingual, and Dominican Republic, it's not true.
Exactly, exactly.
We have like a 15% bilingual.
Yeah.
That's a very low percentage.
Yes, yes. But that will be something that's, I wish we had today, but we don't. But it shouldn't be much longer. At least the commitment I had last week is it'll be very, very shortly.
Would that be a free upgrade?
For any customer that wants a Spanish version, that, we don't want anyone to not buy the product today and wait 6 months or 3 months or whatever, just because the Spanish version isn't available. Bear in mind, it's gonna be quicker than 3 months though.
Do you
But
have
we
any
could-
online monitoring demos?
We just make it a condition of the purchase order, Wanda. We write it in the purchase order, when the
That's
Spanish version
exactly-
comes out, we send it to you for nothing. It's not a
That's
big deal.
exactly.
It's not a big deal.
We've done a thing with Volkswagen in Mexico, and that was part of their ISO thing, was they have to have Spanish programs. So we just wrote it into that we would upgrade them at no charge as soon as it's
Well,
released.
let me ask this, would
Uh-huh.
it be, could you switch between the two, or it's either or?
It would be either or, I believe.
What about this, if an operator makes a mistake?
Oh, very simple, very simple. If you go in, you notice this right here? We put in this little box for a reason. It's called the last reading box. So no matter where you are, if you get distracted, if you don't know what you're doing, you can go in and take a reading here. Wake up. Didn't hit the button. But you noticed the last reading always fills in right there. That way you could very easily go in and edit right there at that point. A simple way of going in is you can rekey in information. You can go right to it, put 0.5, There you go. If you're doing it from the gauge,
Yes.
same thing. You would just go in, get it to where you want, and then you would hit escape, and it would reread the reading.
Escape
All
from
you-
where? From
All you'd have to do, let's do it. Let's go over to this part that has a gauge connected. Make a lot more sense. If I go in, take a reading. Now, say I made a mistake for some reason, all I'd have to do is go back up to that box, I believe, and reread that reading. That's all I
Right.
need to do.
What about if
Okay.
you do on the second one and you add the fifth one, you can go to the second by going up
Yeah, you
with the
can.
cursor.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So if I take some readings and I go, whoops, that's wrong for some reason, I could go up there and reread that at that point.
Good.
Then hit F6 again to continue, and it puts you right back to where you are.
Type it in.
Type
sign
it
it.
Okay.
That really needs to be in spec.
Now,
Can you do that? Is your DOS?
why don't
Well,
we?
yeah, but we try to make it a little harder so people won't change dimensions
Yeah.
to make them in.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me show you, because this really gets interesting. We could add another page, for instance. Here I've got 4 pages.
Yes.
We have a piece of software that's actually just an add-on. If you want to design your own screens, you can design your own screens. All you have to do, and you notice I haven't touched a mouse yet. I need a mouse for this program. But it's going to be done offline by whoever's the administrator of the whole SPC data collection. Same person that would be creating the part programs. All I'd have to do, I've got it to where I can access it from here. Go into the designer mode, and it gave me some tools to work with right there. And all I'd have to do is go to the insert option, and let's insert a new chart page. So now I've got a blank page, just like a template or a palette or something, I should say. And then you could say, what do you want on this screen? You could put, we'll just grab something. Why don't we grab an icon for a histogram? Okay? Then you could say, oh, why don't we put a histogram down here? Whoops, did I grab it?
Click and drag.
Okay.
Or you have to use-
Let's grab something else.
It's not.
Is your mouse connected?
Yeah, that's the way it's working. There we go. Let's grab, I grabbed some statistics. So you can have a statistics box. You can even spell out what statistics you want to view. Because you could say, oh, just double click on the object and you could say, go to the formula list and you could say, oh, I only want to have my CPK displayed and maybe my PPK and maybe my mean and maybe my min, maybe my max. That's good. And now that's all I display in that box. Let's try this histogram again.
So you need
Is
this
that
package
included
in
here?
order to create the screens we already saw.
That's correct.
So, and this is a separate software?
This is separate if you
Is
want
that
to write the
software-
screens out.
It's on the quote.
It's on the quote.
It's called
Is-
Designer.
Is this only
Designer, that's
available
it.
with the Windows package?
Right.
With the, if you didn't buy this, you would be limited to which screen?
I'll show you what we can do.
So you can put everything in one screen, everything you need,
Yeah.
and only play with one.
You could
Well,
even put your
Not if you're
your print,
measuring
if you wanted to
32
show it
different
up
things
there.
on one part number.
Yeah.
No,
because
I mean for
screens
the
get-
one you're working
You
on.
could put 32 different charts on a screen, but they get so small you couldn't
Yes,
see
you
it.
cannot distinguish
But it
between-
does have that
Can you
capability.
make them icons and double click on them and have them expand?
No.
You go down, you go down on the page tab and hit Alt
You
2 and it
can't
would
say
open it
that.
up.
You can
and
make a
expand.
proposal.
You got your suggestion list? or-
There you go. We're gonna grab a drawing. If you have a drawing you've created somewhere, you click on the picture icon. Come out here and you can say, oh, I'd like to have my drawing inserted right there. Then you could run out, and this allows you to grab an object from another application. So all you have to do is go to the directory. should have some right somewhere in here. You can preview it and say, yeah, that's what I want. And it would now insert that.
I
You
mean,
just
they-
wanted to,
Did you link to that other one, or is that?
that right there?
You can
Can
have
you come in there
your
and change it?
real-time export and hour chart,
Absolutely,
and also your measurements you're taking. If that,
absolutely. All on one screen.
and anytime you have you put one measurement in, everything's gonna change.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we were watching.
That's what I
earlier.
wanted.
That's what we're gonna do here in a second. So now you could say, well, that's great, let's go in and do something. Let's put a title on that page. We'll just go to pages, and we go to page 5, we'll just put a title right there. We're gonna call this page Jose's page.
Thank you.
Jose's.
You can take that page
Mike.
back with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that page with me.
You got film in there?
Okay. So now we've got 5 different pages. So here we've got this part, but now we've added page 5, which is Jose's page. So if I went to page 5,
Boom, there it is.
there we go. There's the page we created.
Well, you put your title down there, that you made up, so actually, even before the Spanish version comes out, the only
Oh
thing-
yeah,
the only thing that'd be
all these
limited
titles
to-
right here can be in Spanish.
Mhm.
Because quite frankly, if you're in here, you don't even need to use this.
Right.
You don't have to
And-
use
And then
those.
your statistical terminology will be in there.
Yeah, you could have all of that. Histograma, ayuda. I mean, you could have it all laid out in Spanish on these, right here.
Jose necesita mucho ayuda.
Yep. Why don't we create a part? I want to show you how easy it is. You probably won't like this. Once you've created a part in the DOS package, you'll never,
Why don't
ever.
you do one of yours?
My part,
Pick a part
pick apart.
that you're gonna do SPC on. Yeah,
Let's-
pick it.
Can I
I
just,
remember that. Oh, I
Let's-
have a quality plan here. Oh, it's,
you got one?
yes.
Let me just show you, just run through one real quick first.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea.
It's my beautification.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this
The
comes with
designer, the
software.
designer we've been showing you, that's the designer package that we've quoted you.
Okay.
What John's about to show you right now is what comes standard with Visual SPC, okay?
We have something called a basic wizard, which just automates the task. All the Microsoft products now have wizards
Mhm.
for automating different functions. So if we go to the basic wizard, what it will do is it's going to prompt us through and ask us all the questions we need. So we're only going to fill in the blanks that we really need to fill in. It's going to ask us for the part name. So I could just call it C-Core Demo. And how do you want to measure the part? Do you want to sequence it by characteristic or by piece? In other words, am I going to pick up a part and measure all the features on the part? Or if I have a sample, I could measure like all the widths, then come back and measure all the thicknesses or all the diameters of this size. There's a brand new option, and it's called fixture, which would allow you, if you have a fixture situation, you can set it up to auto sequence through a bunch of gauges at once. What the subgroup size is, right there. And then you just say next page. What's your characteristic? I could just say something like a 1/2 inch diameter. And then you'd say, what's your target value? 1/2 inch. What's your plus tolerance? We'll just say 10 thousandths. What's your minus? It assumes it's bilateral, so it puts that in. You could change that.
You need to put a whole bunch more zeros in front of that one if
Okay.
you're talking here.
So then we put in the next. You say next page. It asks us what kind of charts do we want to look at. We'll just say histograms, and we'll select that, same for all characteristics. What kind of gauge? you just spell out the gauge. Whatever you have already set up, gauge-wise, on your gauge list, it automatically grabs that and says, oh, the Mitutoyo gauge, Brown and Sharp gauge, or whatever else you want to do. We'll just say manual input for the fun of it here. And then you go next page. How do you want to look at the charts on the screen? We'll just look at it like that. We just say finish. That's the most basic, easy to use part setup.
So you just
And it
define
goes in-
histogram, right, as the choice that we made?
That's all I did.
So down there at the bottom, are you just gonna have a
There-
data entry and then a histogram?
Actually, what this default will do is it will give you,
Oh, it's giving you more?
in this case, it will actually go in here and give us the histogram for each characteristic and then the input grid for each characteristic. Okay? And you may say, golly, is there anything in particular you may want to see on this screen? Like a CPK value or something? A lot of customers want to do that. You could say, I'd like to have my CPK displayed for each characteristic right there, and I want it updated all the time. Well, all you'd have to do is go into Designer and make that change. And you could go right in here and you could say, give me my statistics box.
You only need one
Click
copy
on
of
that.
Designer, though. You can have 50 copies of the software and just one copy of the Designer to do your custom charts.
Why do you have the site license for Designer then?
I don't remember that.
Visual Designer, corporate site license for 4,000. Single copy, $8.95.
I
If
thought they
you
only
wanted
needed,
it on
I thought they
each
only needed
workstation.
one copy of Designer.
That's all you need.
If you're on a LAN system, if you're not on a LAN system, you need it at each workstation, right?
Probably wouldn't be done at each workstation because you'd probably do it offline at a PC, transfer it on a disk.
I'm gonna have to go, gentlemen, I have an appointment.
Okay.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Oh, well, thank you, it's nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Good to
Thank
meet
for
you.
your
Watch the
time.
cables there.
Don't trip.
We pulled those all out of the way.
Yeah.
If there's a fire, we can leave the room and not die on the way out.
Oops.
So if we would've chose those to begin with, did you have that option to choose those without the Designer software? The CPK?
These, no, I didn't. You're gonna have to have designer if you wanna do something like that.
What choices do you have without it?
You're gonna pretty well get the screens laid out however you want. I mean, you have some, you can say, do I wanna look at, on the first screen, one page or one chart, the first chart, then it would update and the second chart would come up on the screen. So I could look at the current chart or all.
So you couldn't could you display histograms and a trend at the same time without the Designer
No.
software?
No.
No,
Okay.
you get one
pretty
thing
well,
at a
I
time.
tell you, you pretty well have to have designer if you want to. For small companies that are doing basic data collection, this is great because it's so easy. They can literally, unlike GT Works, they can install this and do it without even opening the book. You saw how easy it is. So they can actually be up collecting data in a matter of an hour. Because if they've used any Windows product, they use this and it's so easy.
There goes your budget, Jose.
But here it is, very simply, you know, I mean, never before, and if you look at any Windows software, SPC, no one allows you the ability of saying, oh yeah, I want to display my CPK right there. So however you can imagine your screen layout to be, you can have it.
A lot
I mean,
of power.
There it is, right there. It took a matter of just a couple of minutes, and I had two charts, input grid, and updated CPK, so I could just, key in information. Oops, that. 0.250, that's good. See how it updates my CPK? So I've got it live right there on the screen in front of me. Okay. So everything's happening. If I want to look at a histogram in a big sense, I've got that with my basic statistics. I want to look at my control chart. I left it at the default, so I didn't change. I'm using data limits in this case. And I also have a report page, so we haven't really even looked at. And basically it goes through and it tells you the diameter, the date, the time, the X bar, the range. I could hit enter and it will display it differently. The next one actually displays it by time and subgroup. And then if I would have had traceability, it would go in there and it would give you a print of every time a traceability change was made. And the same with this, which would be the process event report. Anytime there's a process event, it would actually spell it out right
And
there.
you print any page?
Yeah, you can print any of the reports. To actually print the page though, just a particular screen print, you would actually have to somewhere or another take it into another program. If you wanted to just take a screen print per se.
Well, what options do you have on report creating then?
You're gonna print on the reports. You can print in this format, to where it's just gonna give you all of the first characteristic with the time, the date, the range, the average, and all the samples. And then the next print are just gonna be these standard, here it is by characteristic, okay? Then here it is by date and time, by traceability, and then by
How
process
about if we wanted
event.
to print out of a histogram? Wanted to print out.
If we want to print just a histogram, we can, I should be able to print out. Let's see what happens if I do a preview right there. Yeah, I can just print right there. That'll print out any page right there. If I want to do an actual screen print though, I just have to take it in, but I can just print. But you notice it's not identical to how the screen print is, but it's going to give you everything
That's fine.
that's on there.
How many users can be looking at the same database?
Yeah, one thing we haven't looked at, Jose, is a database, because we've actually, all this that we've looked at to this point is just real-time data collection.
All right.
So you're saying the database?
For example, he's working right now,
Uh-huh.
taking measurements, and he and me, we want to see what he's doing in real time.
Okay.
See the CPK, the trend, and everything.
We can do that in Network Monitor, which will actually, Network Monitor allows you, if you're running on a network, to monitor what's going out on the floor. And it actually,
But I mean, not only that. I mean, if I want to see that screen, the time he's taking the measurements,
you
I
wouldn't
can
see,
do-
you will not see this exact screen.
No,
No,
for another computer.
you won't see this exact screen.
I need to see a specific screen.
It's going to give you what Network Monitor, have you seen Network Monitor? What Network Monitor is going to give you, it's going to be a kind of an abbreviated version. What we need to do is go in and let me show you.
All right.
But you will not be able to just go out to a particular PC and view what's happening. Now, you can look and see things will be coming in and things will happen live. The way it's presented on the screen is going to be different. We currently just have, it's a DOS product. It works with this. But we'll actually click. And what that would do, for instance, you would have it sorted maybe by station or by CPK or something of that. And what it does is it sorts it automatically. So the upper left-hand corner would be your worst case of what's happening out on the shop floor. And it tells you which station it is and which characteristic. You could just click your mouse on that and it would blow up the screen. And then now you could see, oh, there's my chart. Here's all my traceability information. The last reading was taken right then.
But that's because I have the file open.
That's correct.
And what about if he doesn't have the file open? Can I
No,
take
he
another file?
does, he
and
does
look
not
at it?
have to have this file open. Does not have to have this file open. It's gonna keep everything in Network Monitor until you close it out to the database. So if it was taken yesterday, you can still look at it as long as you haven't closed it out to the database. Once you close it out and import it into the database, then it would remove it from the Network Monitor screen.
To any monitor. I mean, I can take a look at it from any computer, if it's connected to the network.
That's correct.
All right.
Realistically, though, if you buy Network Monitor and you're collecting lots of data, you pretty well better dedicate a PC to Network Monitor.
Well, we're trying to
Yeah.
dedicate. I mean, there is I understand there is a manager's report.
Management report.
Yes, that it runs on 486 Windows, and I have a computer in my office, and my quality engineer has a computer, and I'm planning him and me to have the option to look at it at any time. So, this is a multi-user software, isn't it?
The management reports, all of them, for instance, the Network Monitor is gonna run on a PC on the network.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned, you pretty well have to dedicate a PC to that, because if you're gonna buy that package, you're gonna want it to run all the time. Because if you have thousands of data points coming in over the day, well, if you go in and you exit the program, and then you walk in and you wanna see something real quick and you fire the program up, it may have 8 hours worth of data that's sitting there that it has to process before it can arrange the screens. Does that make sense?
So if it's not on all the
instant.
time, it's not gonna load that new information in, it's gonna, you say, I wanna look at this, and it's gonna say, well, wait a minute, I gotta suck in all this data.
Yeah, it has to
before-
be, it has to be running,
Mhm.
because it
So
would
pretty
bog-
much you don't wanna turn it off.
You would
Once
wanna
you turn
keep,
it on,
you would
leave
wanna
it
keep
running.
it going, absolutely. Because it takes a lot of information, and when you have all that data, and it's saying sort 3,000 readings by CPK, it has to go in and look at all of that, gather all the traceability.
But if you have it dedicated, you have all the data.
Oh,
Right.
I
And you
mean,
never
it's-
turn it off,
you
and
would-
it always updates, and yeah.
If there were lots of things changing,
But what about
then
if
you'd
I
see
can?
the screen just jumping.
What about if I cannot dedicate a computer?
I wouldn't buy it.
You wouldn't buy it?
I mean, because if you don't, and you've got a lot of data, it's not worth it. It just is not worth running it. Because what will happen is, you'll say, I wanna look at something, and you fire Network Monitor up, you better come back in about 30 minutes, because it's just not gonna be instant.
Okay.
So it pretty well,
Oh, so this is included.
I tell customers that if they're gonna buy that, dedicate a PC to it, don't buy
But
it.
the monitor doesn't need a CPU.
Do what?
That's a monitor.
It's the
No,
name
that's
of the
the name of the
software
software.
network monitor.
Oh, it's okay. Okay.
Software. This is just the software package.
Yeah, it's monitoring what's happening on the network, on the data collection side.
There's your management reports. It's your-
Mhm. So okay.
I'm gonna jump out of here.
Yeah, why don't we? Do you have management reporting on this?
Yeah, that's what I want to
So
see.
you need an extra computer to dedicate it.
Let's see what I've got.
Yeah.
If we go
If you wanna
into-
see network monitor live, real time, then you'll need another computer.
Because
and-
I thought I could see it from my office. Well, I can do it, but it takes 30 minutes. He said.
Well, but you can still use management, or are you gonna show management report?
Yeah, let me show you Network Monitor real quick, just
From-
since I fired
okay.
it up. This is Network Monitor. Now, you notice just a second ago, I just created a part setup and I did not have any data in my database except for what I just collected. Because on the other parts, I told it not to save it. I set it up to where it automatically does not save when you exit. But on this, it saved it. And see, I've got a 250 thousandths diameter and a 1/2 inch diameter on the C core demo part. It's at workstation 1. And if you look at this, see these red lines? I don't know if you can see them back there, but the vertical red lines there, those are like spec limits. And then this is the spread or my distribution. So it's like looking at a histogram from the top down.
So that's looking at all points collected. Up to
Exactly,
that
and
point.
I've only got two
Right.
characteristics.
Right.
And I know my 250 thousandths diameter is worse. I'm sorting it by PPK. If I want to go in and view that, all I'd have to do is take my mouse and click on it, okay? I can get other information, statistics, histogram. There's my X bar value. I don't have a lot. Time it was taken, date. If I had used traceability, it would have spelled that out. Now, if I input data at this time, you'll see things change live. So if traceability changes here, statistics change here, it'll plot, things update and change right before your eyes. Okay, it tells you what subgroup we're on, the subgroup size, total observations, current observations, what type of chart, part name, characteristic name, when we started it, when the last reading was taken. And like I said, this is live. This is monitoring everything that's coming in off the network.
The computer you have to dedicate, this needs to be a 486.
Actually, it will run, this program will run almost on anything.
So he
Almost.
could take one of his 386s that he has and dedicate it to be
You
the
could.
network monitor? Okay.
Because I'm buying a 486, and I already have one, so I have my 4 workstations.
Mhm.
For to dedicate another one,
Right.
if I need to buy another computer, it's gonna be more expensive. But
Just
I do have 386.
You could definitely run this on a 386. This is a DOS program. It will process, as you saw, I collected data in a Windows software program, but it's processing the data just the same. We will have, later in the year, a Windows version of this that's gonna be much prettier, a little bit nicer. The screens will look more like the real-time screens.
If he buys
Do you
the,
think that a math processor on a 386 will be
Yeah.
faster?
It will handle this fine. As I say, as long as it's running, you know,
Okay.
it'll do fine.
Okay.
if you buy the $150 a year warranty, whatever upgrade thing, when the Windows version comes out, will that be included?
Probably not on a DOS to Windows conversion, but we could probably work something that we would upgrade if you wanted to upgrade the network monitor to, the
Windows.
Windows version is gonna be called Visual Manager. So that will be the name.
See, we've got some prices too. For example, if Mark wanted to update from DOS to Windows, we give him some credit for his software he owns. He trades that back in and we give him Windows.
Yeah, that would be like
We've got a price schedule for that.
a cross-grade pricing.
Okay.
But anything that we do, if we sell a customer currently a Windows application and we don't have Windows companion type product available yet, we'll upgrade it at no charge. It's the only sensible thing to do.
Okay.
Only sensible. And then, like I said, like Steve was saying, we just spell that out on the purchase order. That way there's never, ever a question or problem. None whatsoever. So that's network monitor. That's actually, if you bought it today, this is how you would view it. All your information would be coming in here, and all you'd have to do if you want to go in and look at this, boom, click on that. You can click at the different screens. You know, you can get, there's my CPK, my PPK. There's all the information. And if I wanted to close it out to the database, clear to database. That's all you have to do. Okay.
How many workstations can I monitor at the same time?
You can monitor, actually it's set up the same as our software is, right off the bat without doing anything else. It goes up to 99.
99? But you're supposed to have different pages. For example, for this one you can get 16.
Yeah, what you would actually do, this program is going to monitor the
Work.
total number of characteristics altogether. Like this is 2 characteristics. I can monitor at any one time. It'll handle 1,024. So say 1,000.
So it would take like how many pages?
Oh yeah, 16 per page. And then see this little bar right here? That's a scroll bar.
Uh-huh.
So that would allow you to page down.
All right.
So you could page. This is gonna be your first page will always be your worst 16. That'd be my worst, second worst, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 16. So this square right here would be the best of the worst 16.
64 pages.
64.
Yeah.
I think you were talking about 30-something total characteristics, or you have more?
Who,
One
me?
time? Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
You know, I was
Thank
thinking
you.
of some customers that
As
have
much
some
as
real
he's got
high,
here as far
high
as
production.
workstations go and everything, so it
I
can
have
go
one
higher than that.
station. I have one station that is gonna handle more than 60 characteristics. Of course, that I can work once at a time, but the SPC network we're gonna be installing there is gonna have an operator going to the computer every time.
And I'm kind of
The
curious.
time one comes back, the other one goes to the computer. It's gonna be all the time, working all the time. If that system's good, it's gonna be demonstrated in our system. If it doesn't burn out.
This is an example of a management report. You had mentioned the management reports. As you know, when we collect data, most often you're collecting by part and by characteristic. And when you get into an SPC database, they're all set up to analyze one characteristic on one part at a time. Well, what, for instance, this report does is this is what's called, it's report 25, and it says demonstrated conformance run chart. What it will actually do, and I just did it by all the parts in my database, but what it allows you to do is summarize, and this will actually, there's my 1.33 line, and then it's actually putting all my runs of information on all my parts, on all my characteristics, all in one chart. So we kind of refer to this as being a bird's eye view, or just a quick glance at a whole entire database. So you could say, well, how's this part running? How's this part running? So you can see it all on the same chart. And then it gives you a little summary around there. It says, oh, on this part, on that feature, on this run ID date, I have a PPK of 1.38. On this one, 1.25. On this one, 1.5, and so on and so on and so on. So that's actually how we can summarize, and that's exactly what management reports does, is it takes our database and it just summarizes it. Okay? Because normally what I would do is grab a particular part, load in some information, and then if I wanted, for instance, a histogram, I would plot a histogram of that particular feature on the part or characteristic. Or if I wanted a control chart,
And I can select the period of time I wanna evaluate it.
period of time,
Yes.
yes, you can specify what time period you want.
And also sort it. You can
By
compare
trace.
between shifts,
Absolutely.
between modules. And
Exactly. If I wanted to do, let's do this. If I wanted to go in and look at a whole table of contents, let me get a good example here. Let's take this. See on this part, you have a slot depth, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different groups of data. What I could do is load that in, and I could say load every bit of that information in. And now if I wanted to look at, for instance, histogram, I could do that, and that's going to be for all the data. If I wanted to look at a control chart, that would be for all the data. And you can even go over and say, oh, give me the information right there. It'll come up on the screen and display your traceability, time and date.
And I can trace back if
Yeah.
corrective action was taken. And
Look at this.
everything.
Like this machine, you say, let's break it out by machine. We keep track of what machine the part's being made on. Real simple, easy way of doing that is just going in, doing what we call a group by. And what it allows us to do is say, let's break this out by traceability field 2. So now it's going to do it by machine. So now if I wanted to look at a histogram, for instance, this would be for the first machine. Here would be for the second one. Here would be for the third one. If you want to look at a control chart, same way. That would be for the first, second, and third.
You cannot do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, yeah.
You can do that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have the data page software package, which is, I guess, that's what we're
That's
in
what this
right
is
now.
right here.
We have that software.
So if I wanted to look at an evaluation,
We just don't use it.
You don't use it?
I use it all the time.
I never see it.
To do an
I
investigation?
don't give you any reports, but I use it on the floor.
see, if I
Yeah.
wanted to go out and look at, for instance, oh, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to look at my PPK value. For that particular part, I've got 1.27. But if I wanted a PPK for each different machine, all I'd have to do is group it. And now when I get and do a evaluation, it would actually break it out by machine. So, go a little bit higher. Machine 1, I've got a PPK of 1.19. Remember, overall I had 1.27. Machine 2, PPK of 128. And machine 3, 1.71.
What is this? This is the
That's,
limits?
that's actually what that does, is it's taking and showing me kind of on a quick scale. There's my average, my lower spec, upper spec, and where my data, my natural limits fall.
Just to see if they are within the spec limits.
Right.
Okay.
So it just kind of, it's almost like looking at a histogram from the top end too, just kind of seeing where you're centered. That's what you can do on the database. And then once again, based on that data, all you do is type report, and then it asks you which report number. I could say report 60. And this happens to be another report. I couldn't remember what it did, but there we have it, just a different type of report that summarizes the database. Okay. Type reset, we're back to square one. But this is data page, this is the analytical database, which is tied together with the management report products. Okay?
It's
A
a big
lot,
pro-
lot of,
it's a
lot
big-
of information very quickly.
It's a big project you're gonna take on.
Everything is there. So I can review it anytime I want to.
What I'm curious is to make sure that you're understanding as far as the layout of your workstations. You say you're having 4 workstations. How far apart are these instruments going to be from each other? The 8 instruments within that workstation, and the proximity of the PC itself, and how you're going to be able to manage that, and the fact that you cannot take data from one instrument and data from the second instrument and load them into the PC at the same time. That's all going to have to be coordinated on how that operates.
So I cannot load it data from 2 different workstations at the same time?
To my understanding, no, you
Say
cannot.
that again?
As far as if he has 2 different instruments on the same workstation.
No, not on the same workstation. I have 4 different workstations.
4 different
They can be
workstations.
loading information from both at the same time.
Oh, yeah,
For
you can.
all of them.
You can.
What I cannot do is load information from 2 gauges at the same time
Right.
to the same workstation.
Right, correct.
That's what I
Right.
cannot do.
Okay.
If I'm using
Okay,
this
understand
tool,
that.
and I'm inputting something, I have to finish this before I send into the same station.
Station.
Because especially if you're selecting a different part, because you have to select the part And then if you want, and you're asking for.
Because you are using the same CPU.
Right, and it's gonna ask you, it has to be on that characteristic, because you spell out, because if I try to use this tool where I should be using a different tool, it won't allow me to do it. If I'm
Okay.
supposed to be using this instead of a different gauge, I can't input into that characteristic. Because remember, we spelled out which gauge to be using.
Okay.
So let's say you have on one workstation, what's that, pick a line that you're gonna put that on. You're gonna put one workstation on, let's say, the 5-pin line?
I have one. I already locate my workstations for the system we are trying to implement, and now we're gonna put one between 5-pin and shortcut lines,
Okay.
and that will handle 2 lines.
So any operator on either one of those lines
We've got a
can
one,
walk up to the
well,
screen?
we've got a 1
It's
o'clock
just
appointment. We
between
could
both
stay
lines,
here.
so it's very
He needs
close.
to call
It's
his
the same
office to get a piece of
distance from
information,
one line
and then
to
I
the
gotta
other
call
line.
this
They'll
other
walk
guy
up
and
to
tell
the
him we
screen
gotta
and pick one
postpone
of
for an
the 8
hour or 2.
tools that
We gotta
is
do that now,
available.
cause we had it
And
set
they're
up
gonna
for
have
1
a
o'clock.
program and
Can
time
he use a
when
phone?
they're gonna be going to that workstation.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, Chris, I'm gonna jump on the phone real quick.
Sure.
so the length of cable doesn't really matter, because it's gonna be right there at the workstation.
Oh, that was a question I was making, because it's not gonna be a problem in the workstations for the lines, but it's gonna be a problem for MID.
Okay. for
Because
your
the
machine
equipment says
inspection.
plating tester and comparator, they are very close, but they are big equipments and they are not that close to the workstation. They can be maybe, for example, they're working, the gears are working with calipers in a table, and out of the AC room, and the plating tester and the comparator, they are in the AC room. So there's a distance of 20-25 feet from
Okay,
the.
well, they need to see the screen in order to input. So where's the screen gonna be?
But I can put more than one screen. That's no problem
For the same.
for the same CPU.
You could have a computer with a,
With a
you could
screen.
have an Enduro with a screen and another screen
Yes.
by the comparator.
Yes.
But how are you gonna make selections at the CPU if you're way over here and the computer's way over there?
Well, I didn't think about that.
Okay,
That's
so
not
you need to
nice.
think about maybe another computer where the Twin Cities and where the Deltronic.
No, Twin City has a computer, and Deltronic has another computer. One is 386 and the other one is 486.
Okay,
You see, in that department I have 2 computers. I don't have a problem there.
okay.
But
So we can just load the
I'm planning
software
to
on.
put everything in one computer, because if I put in 2 computers, then I need to duplicate the cost, because I need softwares for each one of them.
If you have a computer at that area, we can load another copy of the software on that computer, that's no problem.
Oh, okay.
But I want to make sure you have a clear understanding as far as what the operator's gonna have to do as far as when they want to select.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to go to some central workstation
Yes, of
and
course.
pull up that particular part that they're gonna select, then go back to
Mhm.
their measurement device, make that measurement, and then the next person would come over and select their part and go back.
No, the instruments are gonna be in the center of what the computer is.
What I did here, Sam, just so you understand,
Mhm.
Mark sent me a fax, and he sent me equipment per workstation, and then he asterisks some of these saying that you may need to buy those tools, so that's the way my quote back, I say, okay, based on this, workstation 1, here's a gauge port for, a 4-port gauge port, and a multiplexer, and I think there's a 2-port gauge port on this. And then every once in a while it says, like for example, the 4th item, it says, here's an indicator. Well, this indicator, the part number got changed, so this is what the new part number is, and that's what that indicator costs.
Okay.
If you wanna buy another one of those. For another example, the Amatec, they make several different models of instruments. So this is what the cable costs, but when you order, I need to know which instrument it's going to.
Sure.
Or the cable's not gonna be, the pinout on the cable's not gonna be right. That's primarily why we need, when I ask a question back and say specify, I'm basically trying to know in advance which cable I send, so I don't send the wrong cable.
But I did send, well, you already have the model of the equipment. That's what I understand he needs.
What was on the fax there, on the Amatec?
On the Amatec, it just says 0 to 200 ounce torque gauge. That's all it says. So I need to know. You have been specific. We sell Chattelon. I know Chattelon very well.
Amatec, okay, it's a 0 to 200 ounce inch total
But-
gauge.
But it doesn't tell me if it's a Cadet or a Cadet 3 or an AccuForce or, that's the digital readout. That's the digital readout. They're different versions.
Yeah, so what we have to get him is the model number of the gauge
So I
that
know
we're
what,
gonna be
or
using.
tell me what the
Make it
pinout
up,
is.
okay.
Tell me if it's a
There's a part
7.
number.
Tell me if it's also help me. Tell me if it's a 7-pin or a 5-pin, circular, square. I need to know that because you're going to be down in Puerto Rico, and if we do business, I want you to be happy, and I don't want you to be unhappy because you got a round cable and you were supposed to get a square cable.
Are there any other ones on here that you had a question, or is that the only one? You can probably make that call. after.
Everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. I do not know the Wagner force gauges. I know of that company. We sell Chattelon, we don't sell Wagner. So I need to know on the Wagner, I thought I put a note in here.
The thing is this.
I need to know about the Twin Cities. I need to know what the pinout information is. In the manual, it'll say, on page 7, it'll say pinout.
No,
I
I
need to-
can send you by fax a copy of the catalog of the equipment with all the information.
Of the instruction manual, not the catalog. I need the instruction manual page that says pin 2 is data transmission, pin 4 is,
I don't think I have that.
I need to know that. Well, then that's what I'd really like to get. The next alternative is I need to know model number.
Okay,
Once I
what
get
about the
model
part
number-
number? The part number will tell you all, but I think so.
Yeah, you'll be able to get the model number right
Part
off the
and model
equipment
number.
itself.
The
Yeah.
more information you give me, Jose, the easier it is for me to
Yes.
get you what you want. Otherwise, I have to send you another fax and this,
Right.
We will have to make the Wagner cable on page 1. We don't have that in our, see in my current file right here, I got all kinds of cables. I got pages and pages and pages. Wagner's not in there. I'm gonna have to make you that cable on page 1. I'm gonna have to make you the cable for the Twin Cities on page 3. And there's one more Wagner, on page 2. Those 3 cables we will make.
Do you currently
Once
have
we,
those?
You're
once we
saying
make
here-
them,
you're
once we
say-
make them, they'll be in our standard product offering.
Okay.
You're
Those-
saying here that part number 543-111 was changed to 112?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
111 is
Is
not
it
available
something?
anymore.
I have both. And 111 is better than 112.
Okay, well, 111 is not available anymore. It's not available.
Well, I don't know why, because we're still buying it. Maybe somebody has them in the warehouse.
Somebody could have some in stock, yeah. It's not in the newest Minatoyo catalog. I have
Because
them.
let me tell you something. You see all those equipment, except for those that are force gauges, we're gonna eliminate all those gauges. We're gonna use only digital indicators, because the way we're doing it, to use it with operators, we're making it foolproof. They insert the part and the pin goes in and measure, always in the same place, and you will use your GR and R. Do you have a GR and R analysis in there?
We do on the DOS version of the
What
software.
about this?
On the Windows, we do not have a Windows version of that. That is a DOS program. The reason is, in most cases, it's going to be used portably in a lot of cases. We've had it around for quite some time, but it's part of our DOS offering, not Windows.
So I cannot make a GR and R analysis with the software.
Not with that, no. That would be, it's a completely separate package
In those.
in DOS.
And I can transfer the information and make the analysis if I want to.
Yeah.
So that's not included in this quotation?
No.
Okay. Is this a big difference?
What,
What's the
how would
GR&R
you,
model?
how would you normally want to do your GNR?
The thing is this, for example, that the other day we were having a big problem, variability on the process, and the problem was on the instrument, on the operator, taking, measuring the units.
Uh-huh.
And then what we did a capability analysis on VGR&R. And
Okay.
we found a very high deviation standard, the way they were measuring it. Then we did redesign the fixture to do the measurement, and the problem was solved.
So did you do that all manually, just keying it in?
Well, right now we loaded the data into a Lotus
Okay.
page that we have.
Okay.
But if it's included in the software, I can do it without retyping the information.
Right. We actually have the capability of tying, because you've got the gauges already there with the cables. So what a lot of our customers wind up doing is just using one of our handheld products. That way they can literally create the part setup on the PC in the office, transfer it to the handheld unit, walk out there, disconnect the gauge from the PC, plug it into the handheld, do their gauge R&R right there, and they've got the results. Then they can take it back into the office and do what they want to do with it.
And also,
But they actually take the handheld out to the gauges as opposed to bringing the gauges all in. In a lot of cases, they can't bring the gauges into an area. So they'll do a bunch of stuff manually, writing stuff down, bring it back into the office and key it in.
Excuse me, are we on to go to General Motors, or are we not?
I do
on?
not know.
Okay.
I'm gonna
'Cause we
test
got-
it, see if it works.
Okay. I hate to just, at the last minute, call him and tell him we're on or we're off.
Well,
okay,
I'll let you
so
know in 1 second.
question: these prices, we have to add all the prices
Mhm.
to see how much is the total.
Yeah, and there's options on here, so don't add all of them.
Do you understand very well this report?
It was laid in my hand the same time you got yours, so the answer's no. I'll have to read it.
I set up each workstation based on the cables and based
Yeah.
on the gauge ports.
Right.
Then,
But
for example,
this
on
is
the first workstation, go to page 1. On the first workstation, I was told you have 7 gauges to connect. So you'll need 2 4-port gauge ports. Okay?
Yes.
Those are $595 each, times
Each,
2.
that's each.
Each.
So all these prices here are
Each.
all right.
Yes, sir. 1 multiplexer. I went with, you said the longest cable available, so where it says 2M or 1M, that's either a 2 meter or a 1 meter cable. Those are Mitutoyo. I don't know if we completely finished talking about this indicator. Mitutoyo, they make really good tools. They make all SPC data collection stuff. They're notorious for discontinue this model, here's our new model. They do that to us a lot here. Now, I don't know how it's done in Puerto Rico, but
So this cost is for the gauge or for the cable? It's $245.
that $245 is for the gauge. Then below it, it says, you actually, in the worksheet, it said you had one and you wanted to buy another indicator. So then I quoted down below
Okay.
2 cables, one for the one you have and one for this one up here.
Okay.
So the cables on those are $38 a piece.
You don't have the length of the wires here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On number 2, that's a 2 meter cable.
2M is the meter.
2M is 2 meter.
And what about the next one?
965013.
I cannot get traceability. Everything comes across perfect.
965013 is 2 meter. She just didn't type that in there.
So you have another. Okay, and as longer is the wire, it costs more. So I can call you back and let you know, hey, I don't need 2 meters, maybe I need 1 meter or do you have a?
Can you go longer, or is that it?
It's all.
Pretty much.
No, that's the
max.
longer.
Do you
because
have
that's
the
the
1
one
meter
you
cost
asked for.
with you there?
Some of the cables we buy from Mitutoyo, the longest cable they make are 2 meter cables. We're in the process of making some of our own Mitutoyo cables, so we can go longer. There's, not only is it by the foot, isn't there a setup charge on that?
We've got a 5-foot extension cable too.
Okay.
For any of
Oh, wait
those.
a
Do you
minute,
have
I'm
the
thinking
1
of
meter
federal. I'm
cost
thinking of
with you
federal.
on those same cables?
No.
Okay.
It's like $3 less.
So that'll
on-
take us through all the
that's-
workstations.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, on
Steve,
the,
I cannot get this traceability.
So we're off for going to General
Yeah, let's
Motors.
wait a day. I'm gonna go call Jack back just to get him working on that.
Okay,
So starting with the software.
right, that's
If
on
we're-
page, that's
if
on
we're
page
not-
3.
If we're not interested in DOS,
You don't need
We
to
don't-
buy it.
we
This is,
don't need
this is what,
anything
this is
on
what
that
Mark
bill.
has here. Mark has the DOS version of our data collection software, real-time software.
Right.
That's how much we charge for that, and of
Yeah.
course, if you buy more than 5 copies, then of course you get a discount.
Yeah.
And then the site licenses and so forth. The, I guess, jump over to page 5, that's visual real-time, that's what we showed you here.
Windows.
That's the Windows, yes, sir. There is also quantity discount for, once we get to the 6th copy, that's per order, that's not total. I tried to work out something with you since you guys had bought, and it's just too hard to keep track of.
okay.
So, if you order today 6 copies, there's
Mhm.
10% discount. If you order today 3 copies and you order tomorrow 3 copies, that's not 6 copies, that's 3 and 3.
Gotcha.
Okay? The designer is to design,
This is
What's the- okay.
1995. This is a visual real time for a single user.
This is, yes.
Yeah.
correct.
And it's
So
your
you don't
basic-
have a like here that you have for 4 stations for 8 stations. You don't have a special prices. So I need a visual real time for each computer.
Yes, sir.
For your 4 workstations.
Yeah,
But
for each
I'm
one.
looking, we were up till about 8 o'clock one night doing this quote, so, and it's been a week ago.
Because definitively we're gonna be needing 4 workstations, so I need to calculate it by 4. If you give a better price,
Well-
would be better.
David, the DOS version is the same price, and it goes to $29.95.
There is no multi-user. It's just based on number of units. If I go over 10 units, then it goes to 15%. If I go over 25 units, it goes to 25%.
So it will cost the same, even if I buy 4.
Right.
Yes, sir. Discount. If you order today 3 copies and you order tomorrow 3 copies, that's not 6 copies, that's 3 and 3.
Gotcha.
Okay? The designer is to design,
This is
What's the- okay.
1995. This is a visual real time for a single user.
This is, yes.
Yeah.
correct.
And it's
So
your
you don't
basic-
have a like here that you have for 4 stations for 8 stations. You don't have a special prices. So I need a visual real time for each computer.
Yes, sir.
For your 4 workstations.
Yeah,
But
for each
I'm
one.
looking, we were up till about 8 o'clock one night doing this quote, so, and it's been a week ago.
Because definitively we're gonna be needing 4 workstations, so I need to calculate it by 4. If you give a better price,
Well-
would be better.
David, the DOS version is the same price, and it goes to $29.95.
There is no multi-user. It's just based on number of units. If I go over 10 units, then it goes to 15%. If I go over 25 units, it goes to 25%.
So it will cost the same, even if I buy 4.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's not the answer I got on the phone.
From,
From 1-800 number. I'll have to check.
I got the manual right here. I mean, you're more than happy, I'll make you a copy of this. It's not a,
And it says in there specifically that buying 4 versus 8 copies. So I was told.
I don't do a discount on any of that stuff, Sam, until 6 copies of the visual design. And there's nothing on here.
No,
There is,
not-
there is a.
The
there is-
visual real
I'm
time.
talking
There
about
is-
real time.
There is a visual real time, on real time.
Yeah, because you've quoted it here with the DOS version for multiple packages. You know what you've done? For 4 copies, it's $29.95.
Right.
Right.
So,
There is
We're
no
looking for- we're looking for
there
the
is
same
no
thing on Windows.
multi-user for visual real time. Visual real time is DOS real time. It's $9.95, or when you get to 6 units, it drops down to 10%. There is a corporate site license available for $27,500.
Why would you make it available for $29.95 for DOS version and not for
I'm sure probably because that's how they had it. This is, again, this is a brand new product. It's only been available for 1 year. Well, it'll actually be 1 year next month. And we can ask John when he gets here. I mean, I'm not making these prices up. All I'm doing, I get this from Gauge Talker. John is Gauge Talker. He sends me a price list. This is what I got to work with. So I sell it. I don't make the prices.
Yeah, I just need more consistent feedback, because
Sure.
I heard different. So.
Who did you talk to?
I didn't write down, it was a lady's name, whoever answers the phone at that 1-800 number.
Sure.
Gauge Talk.
There may be a this price list goes back to October, excuse me, October '94. We have a big dealer meeting with Gauge Talker at the quality show. So that may be coming out, but this is what I'm working with right now.
Okay.
And that's what I used to get this quote for you guys.
Visual Wizard, is that required for each PC computer?
The Visual Wizard isn't the standard wizard part of the software now. John, we've got,
Visual Wizard's $195. You just need a single copy of that.
but there's when I went ahead and did this quote, in the price list, it gives us a corporate site license or
Right.
and so forth.
Exactly.
And they're asking me a question too, with the regular DOS-based real-time, there's a multi-user price for it, but there is no multi-user price on the visual, it's just per copy.
Right,
on
and
the
that's,
Windows.
yeah, because the price on, that's for the analytical package on data page. So it's a 4-user, because it's normally gonna be run on a network. Well, if you are gonna run it on a network, you buy a single copy, 4-user or 8-user.
Okay.
So that's not for the real time, that's just for data page. Then on page 3, this DP3 4U multi-user
Right.
data page, that is not the real time.
No. that-
The
that
real
would be
time is
data
still
page.
costing you $9.95
Correct.
per terminal. The data page, which is what he showed you near the end, where we were able to look at all the historical charts and generate the histograms and stuff like that. That's what he's quoting.
I gotta quit. We sell for Brown and Sharp, and Brown and Sharp's software module is called Data Page.
Okay.
And how long have I been doing this? A year now, and I still in my mind when I think of Data Page, I think of.
Okay, so Visual Real Time is $9.95 for each computer.
Correct.
All right, then the Wizard, the Visual Wizard is $9.95 corporate license. That
Right.
means how
It-
many I can.
An initial, right.
I need only one.
One copy of that is $195.
One copy?
Yeah.
And that's all we need.
$195.
That's what he.
The designer, you only need one copy.
Okay.
If you want to use the basic wizard, you need one of those for each. Do you just need one? Could you move that around?
What's that?
If you had the basic wizard on
The
visual,
basic wizard's gonna be with each, it's gonna be included with visual.
okay.
It'll automatically be there.
So I don't need to buy the Visual Wizard because this is in the Visual
Yeah.
Real Time.
You'll need the visual wizard. The basic wizard's gonna allow you to do basic part setups.
Mhm.
The visual wizard will allow you traceability, process event, and it will also allow you to create templates for part setups.
So it's not included in
So
the
you-
Visual Real Time.
But
No.
if you have the
Alright.
designer, what do you need the Visual Wizard for? What's the difference?
The designer is only gonna allow you to customize the screens, to lay out the screens. Visual Wizard will still only allow you the default screens.
If you buy 4 workstations and you install real time on each one, how many copies of Visual Wizard do we need to buy? One, and it's how much? One.
$195.
Okay.
$195. Then if you buy the license, will be $19.95 and $9.95. That's what he said.
No, we can
No.
forgo that.
$195 is all you need. You just need to buy one. It's $195.
You only
Yeah.
have to buy one.
One.
Right.
Now you know why I brought John with me here.
And then visual designer, single copy, you just buy one. and-
Right.
Because we're gonna do that offline most likely.
Right.
anyway,
That's correct.
And that's $8.95.
That's correct.
Okay.
This is you only need one visual designer
Yeah.
also.
One visual designer,
One
one
visual-
visual wizard.
Well, that would
okay,
be-
so I don't need visual designer corporate license.
So,
The
No,
copyright
scratch that.
laws on the
I
visual
don't need
designer
that.
though is PC dependent,
Please
so
complete
if
that
he's
one
gonna
also.
have one
Which one?
PC to do it.
This one.
yeah,
You
that's,
delete this, you delete this,
Right.
you delete this, and this. Only one.
okay, so if you were just buying real time with the designer, you would have to do 4 times $9.95 for the 4 workstations. $195 for one copy of Visual Wizard.
Right.
$8.95 for one copy of Visual Designer.
Right.
And you can create custom screens on
You
any
can
of
do
the
everything,
traceability
you
on
could
all
do
of them.
anything you needed to ever do.
Okay, and then Visual Manager, there's no price on here, it's not available yet.
Right. That'd be the equivalent of network monitor.
Right.
And this is all right.
And
Okay, this is for the dual. I don't
Yeah.
need- Okay.
See, I've put on the quote here, if you buy data page 3, for example, when visual analyst is ready, we'll send it to you at no charge. If you buy network monitor, we'll give you visual manager, which is Windows. That's all, no problem.
What about the manager report? Is that included?
That would be $4.95.
It's not-
Is that
it's not
listed
here.
on there?
It's on page 4, very first item.
Because this is not on the
Still
Windows.
DOS, yeah.
But I need manager reports on Windows.
It's not available yet, it says
Yeah.
available second quarter, 95.
So I don't have it now.
You can buy the DOS version now.
Yeah, you can buy the DOS
We
version.
buy $4.95 and we'll
If I have
get,
buy the DOS version, then I cannot change that to the Windows by paying the 150.
No, we can get it to you for, if you buy like any of the DOS packages you buy today, and you're buying Windows packages as well, we'll upgrade you to the Windows copy it.
At no cost.
No additional cost.
what we really meant by that, Mark can't come to me right now and give me $150 and I convert him from DOS to Windows. I just can't do that.
You cannot.
I can exchange, I give him credit for his and turn it in, but not, it won't be $150.
Which one will be the best option for me?
What do you think that is?
Well, I like the deal, the Windows version, but I like the management report.
Well, you can still run the management report even off of Windows, it's just, you're just gonna have to go into
And as soon
a
as,
separate program altogether, which
I
is a
mean,
DOS program.
as soon as Windows is available, if you buy DOS now, we'll give you Windows for no
I
charge.
mean, you can still run it.
Just buy the DOS version now is your answer.
So it's better for me to buy the DOS version now.
It'll
and
be a
then-
little bit of a pain to use it.
You're just not
because
gonna
you
have an
to-
icon there to be
Oh,
able to go to and
what will be
select
the
it.
different
Well,
to
for
change
what?
to one to the other?
You
For
need
the
Windows
management
operating
report.
system in order to
Oh,
access it. So you get out of Windows to use it.
Yes, but the time
But you
they-
can do alternate tab and go whatever.
if I buy
to
the
DOS,
DOS
use it in alternate tab.
If I buy the DOS version right now, and then the Windows comes with the
They will send it to you
management
for
report,
free.
they will
Exchange it for free.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then what I will be doing now is looking for the DOS version, not the Windows.
You'll be using the DOS version until second quarter 1995.
Just on that software.
Just on
the
that.
So
management.
that means
review.
I need to buy the data page 3 software?
No,
No.
No?
just the manager software will be
Oh,
DOS.
that's it, okay,
Just
okay.
the manager
So everything's
software.
gonna be the same as Windows, I'm gonna be using Windows, but for management report, I'm gonna be using
When
the
you want
DOS and then.
When you want to do management report, you gotta get out of Windows.
All right, but I don't need to do that on the workstation, I need to do that in my
Sure.
office.
In your office. Exactly.
Okay, so how much is the manager report?
$4.95. It's right there
Correct,
on
that's
top of
correct.
page 4.
Here's the best way to do
EOS.
that too, Jose. If you wanna, go to page 5.
Mhm.
Go to page 5, we're on page 5. Now for this, see right here, and the prices for that are right here on page 3. So if you just want one copy, that's it right there. So you spend $9.95 here, and we update you as soon as it's available.
$9.95 one copy.
Right.
If I need for 4 workstations,
$29.95. And just put in parentheses, page 3.
Yep.
Okay,
Is,
now for this, you'd be looking at network monitor. That's on page 4, right here.
So I need that one also.
So if you want that, right, $17.95, and then when it comes out in DOS, we upgrade it in that for no charge.
Okay. That's page 4.
Correct.
Okay, so I need the cables, the virtual real time for each computer, the virtual designer 895, the wizard 195, then the virtual analysis 995. If this is one computer, if this is 4 computers, a license for 2,995.
Correct.
And finally, the virtual manager, 1,795. The last two will be changed to Windows with no charges.
Yes, sir.
After the second quarter of 1995.
You're buying Visual Manager for each station?
Virtual manager will be, I will need that on one computer. On one of that. Because it's gonna be a lot of money.
How much did you have for it?
Huh?
What did you write down for Visual Manager?
So
$495?
1,795.
That's,
That's for each computer.
where'd you get that price?
He gave it.
He's
on the
saying
page
one
4.
thing and you're saying something else.
Okay.
The management report software on page 4
Mm-hmm.
is $495.
Yeah.
I don't,
Which one is that?
what is network manager gonna be called in Windows? It can't be visual manager.
I'm not really sure.
So,
I think it will be all in the one. I think it will probably be all in one, and then
So I'm just gonna
If
call it
you-
Management
it'll
Reports.
be just like, be like an add-on type thing. I think is the
And
plan.
DOS.
but I guess what I'm asking is he'd need to buy the management report software in order to be current and official.
Oh, management reports?
He wants to get a copy of that.
I do not know. I'm not sure that. I'm not sure of
And
the
then
name.
Network Monitor is the big one.
You're only gonna get one copy of that though.
Of Management Reports, yeah.
Do you have that here, Mark?
No, sure don't.
1795.
And finally, as far as any additional training, then this is the last page
Yeah,
here.
that's on the very last page.
Okay. This particular, I believe we talked over the phone. This buying this software includes no additional training whatsoever. Okay.
Or do you have manuals that we could look at to see if they're sufficient enough to not need training?
Most of the manuals and stuff they're actually putting as help screens on the software.
The manuals on the, I do not have one with me. Be happy to get you one over here.
Okay.
World of difference in the Windows software and the new stuff. they're perfect. They
The
really
new
are.
ones are, you know, anybody with a little bit of computer savvy can figure out
Yeah,
how to
and I
use
would-
all the features.
Yeah,
without
I'd
the
be
training.
I'd be happy to bring one by and let you look at it. I was gonna say I have one in the car, but I don't.
You've had,
'cause
you
it
had to
broke.
do that because of ISO, haven't you?
I mean, the documentation is better. We had a real weak area in documentation, no doubt.
It's just
In
if-
past products, it is really done with the Windows products, done extremely well.
I really need to see
Well-
that, because if we have to send people to train, like in Dominican Republic, it's a huge cost to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I had one with me. You don't have one in your car, do you? Probably not.
I got my book out, well, I'd have to go look. I may have it, I may not.
I'll get you one over here to look at.
That'd be fine.
No problem. I've got many of them at home. No, that's
That's
just
an
the
old one.
training stuff.
So, do you think, we're gonna have an answer soon about Twin City Cable?
We can do the cable, I just need to get some information from you.
What
You
we,
need to tell me
what we
what.
do, now, on
The
the
same
cable,
information we're asking for.
Cable,
The,
yeah.
quantity
What-
of pins, the
what kind of-
type, the shape of.
Has it got a connector on the back? Is it a round, is it a 25 pin, is it a 9 pin?
And then what each pin goes to.
Pin
Yeah,
two
what
is
it-
hot.
We made it real easy because on all serial gauges, it'll be, we call it a GF, a gauge talker flash cable, and then it's gonna be, is it a 25 pin connector or a 9 pin? That determines the next two. So if it's a 9 pin connector, it'd be an 09, or if it was a 25, it'd be a 25. And then the next number says, is it pin or box? Is it male or female? So say it's male, it'd be a 1. And then say it transmits, it's either gonna probably transmit on pin 2 or pin 3. So then it would be, maybe it transmits on pin 3. So those numbers actually mean something. They're not just the next cable is the next number. That tells me I can look at that and say that's a 9 pin connector that's male on the cable end, and it transmits on pin 3. So we have all these. If you look in the listing of cables, you'll see like a GF 2512. I know that's a 25 pin connector with male that transmits on pin 2, or it could be a 2502.
We still need to know all that information though, John, I mean.
Oh, never got it.
Last thing I need is Jose down there with some 9
So-
pin, 9 pin rounds, and he needs 25 pin
Exactly.
rectangular.
Well, looks like the conference room is, they're ready.
Yeah, I got this.
Okay.
Cut off the camera there.
Great.
Should appreciate it.
Get this stuff all falling apart.
I mean, but this is Ron Hunt. Ron is with ASI, formerly known as Applied Statistics Incorporated. Ron is the regional sales manager, tech manager, support.
Salesman.
All of it.
For all of us.
Okay.
And Ron is based out of Austin, Texas. So we've got a local man here for help and support and questions and things of this nature. Before we get in and direct our attention to the computer, for those of you who haven't heard this before, I think it's important that we emphasize some very important points of our software. And I'll just go down the list if you would, and then we can go individually a little bit into them, because we're here to talk statistics naturally. But I think it is, from the customer's evaluation, our experience has been that we want to let you know that there is an upward path. There's not a level there or a shelf there where you reach it. ASI's products are known as M-ware. Okay, that's the whole family. It's like General Motors, and then we have all of the various Cadillac, Chevrolet, and all of the various divisions within it, if you would. And they call that package, and this is the hot acronym in the manufacturing world right now, MES, Manufacturing Execution Systems. But what does that mean? It means that we can go into a facility like yours, and we find the more we talk to the various departments, purchasing, design, If you're running NC Machine, the programming area, the project engineering group, the scheduling group, receiving group, all these people all have their own business systems within their plants. They're all running different operating systems, different computers, and none of them are talking to each other. The data, when a job goes to the floor, they find, okay, they go to this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, they put all this stuff together in a job packet and send it down there. Okay, what can happen? Wrong revision of blueprints, da 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 da. You can imagine the nightmare that comes from that. So what MES stands for is that we have the ability to come into a small or a very large facility and grab and pull data out of all of these different executions, all of these business systems, and get them into the right place at the right time. Okay, tie the business systems together. So we're not coming in to replace anything. What we're trying to come in is make use of everything you've got, and let's get the right hand and the left hands talking, and let's get it coordinated and make it fast and instantaneous. Okay? Now within that family, we have modules. They're all software packages. They are all standalone. One does not require the other, or vice versa. Okay? So we have customers who use one or two of the modules. We have customers who may use them all, et cetera, okay? Now these modules, and you don't have to write any of those down, it's listed on the first brochure in the packet I'll give you. Statistics, CIM, another great acronym for Computer Integrated Manufacturing. DNC, customers running distributed numerical control machine tools. We can bring the DNC system in there. Tooling, you mentioned the project you've got ongoing. We can go into tooling management. And not just a database, but manage tracking the tooling, cost of tooling, repair of tooling, things of this nature, things you maintain for that tooling, etc. Preventative maintenance, which controls both demand and preventative maintenance in the plant. It's more for the maintenance department. And gauging, which goes into gauge management, gauge calibration procedures and records, all of the gauging side of it. These two are a little bit kind of work hand in hand, if you will. Within each of these there are some sub-modules, such as purchasing modules, so that if something happens, an order can be sent directly out of the maintenance or the tool crib to the purchasing department to get something on order form, et cetera, et cetera. Inventory control and things are built in. All right. Now, what ties all this together is the operating system. And we operate under the Windows environment. Open architecture, very open, very standard. So standard that if you look at the brochure, there is a, is it on the new ones? Yes, not real big. There's a logo on the very bottom of that screen that says Microsoft Office or Microsoft Solution Provider. What that means is that ASI submits their software to Microsoft on a regular basis for compatibility checks, Windows rules, so that we ensure 100% compatibility with whatever Windows is doing now and will be doing in the future. You know, we've heard about the Windows 95 or the Chicago. Someday, we may get to see that. They're already writing code, they're already working with the beta versions. We're ensuring constant, so if Microsoft gives something back in return, make sure that their software stays up to date with what's going on. We're thinking of the future for the customer as well. Another neat feature of Windows, Windows is easily networkable. Right out of the box, it's a peer-to-peer system. And if you want to go to client-server, NT is already a proven system, and you can go to client-server relationships. TCP/IP, whatever networking protocol that you may have or want to use in the future. It's open, it's standard. There's nothing secretive in that respect. There's nothing proprietary in that manner. Okay? Now let me stress as we get started because of the way my competitors work. Each one of these is a self-sustaining standalone software package or can be mixed seamlessly in a one big operation. All tied over a network, all on standalone stations, whatever it might be. Okay? So the hardware requirements, PC or a PC-like device. More and more machine tools are coming in with Windows NT as their operating systems on them now. The machine controllers, that's a big push in the machine tool world, is to use PCs as their control cabinets. That's what's happening. Just plug and go. Any questions on just the overall view of where we're going? Jose?
No, it's okay.
Okay, you understand it, all that?
But the packages includes everything.
No.
So you have to.
Each package is a
which-
separate
okay.
piece, okay? But if you're interested in statistics right now,
Yes.
this is all, you know, you would, at this point, would be concerned with.
So you have the possibility of for us to get any one of them.
Yes, and grow forward with it, not get stuck here, because later you might want to start adding some other things or do other things with the data you're getting, or bring text information down, or DNC machine tool information down, or tooling information in your plant. Or you just say, okay, send me the tooling module. Load it onto your PC, and now you're ready to handle tooling and track tooling.
And we can share software. I mean, if I have a database on tooling, I can use that database to load it into the gauging. And
Yes.
okay.
In fact, if I remember correctly, we have the ability to make sure that the tooling is checked and calibrated and mastered prior to even before the gauges can get on the floor. And we'll go back and check that record to make sure that everything has been calibrated and it is okay to use them. So that data can then, since it is a Windows product, Jose, we use what's called DDE, which is another computer term for dynamic data exchange.
Correct.
It's a hot link between all of these modules and or any Windows program, Word for Windows, Excel, any of these packages where that data can reside. We can hot link, and anything changes one area, the other areas don't change with it. Okay, all of those advantages of Windows are there. And it can be a local link, local DDE, or a network DDE, where it can reach out and go to another location in your plant. Like send a message up to the front office over that network. Okay? It's the beauty of Windows. So that's kind of an overview of the system, and I wanted to get that across. And then I'll let you take over and do an actual presentation on the background and history.
Yes, we're going to stay real focused on the SPC application as our first, as we get into the software presentation. We'll go touch on the others just to give you a quick glimpse of that, but I don't want to get you confused because there is a little bit of an overlap of what we can do in just the SPC package. And so let me just introduce real quickly. Applied Statistics is headquartered in Minneapolis, Minnesota area. And we have regional offices across the country. I'm a regional manager. I live in Austin, Texas. I cover 6 states where we do not exclusively get involved with distributor networks. We only do that in a case-by-case basis where it complements what we're trying to do. Southwestern Gauge, being in the metrology business for 40 years and having experience with software products, including specifically the application of SPC, complements it. And they see their future as being more and more involved with the complete communication capabilities of the shop floor or production facility. And so that's where the marriage came. Our company started in 1986 in the SPC real-time data collection business. That's our core that we build everything out of because we think that the quality side of what SPC does for you drives these other things. We started out on the Macintosh and we continued on the Macintosh until '89. We still support the SPC product on the Macintosh even today. But as we looked and saw PCs becoming the dominant platform for distributed architectures, the most cost-effective architecture for distributed architectures, we went to wanted to go to PCs. We saw Microsoft's concept of Windows at that point, and we went along with it. And in 1991, that had some risk with it. Today, it looks like a no-brainer, but at that point, but we had a real advantage because we were already working with the graphical user interface with the Macintosh and taking advantage of that multitasking capability underneath that, which will be a real advantage to the kind of gauging that you want to do here to be able to have that all in a limited number of workstations initially. So that's where our forte really lies.
Let me emphasize that point, if I may, is that this product was never written or migrated from DOS. It was written for Windows from the get-go. A lot of people are having trouble making that migration. DOS is a different world, different way of doing it. We don't have that hiccup in our product.
And let me just compliment one thing that John said a minute ago about the Microsoft solution provider. We have been getting advanced releases of both NT and the Windows 95 for about a year, a little over a year and a half, a little over a year. And what that means is that if they would come out with Windows 95 tomorrow, we already know that our software will run there, just as it sits. Now, that's one key point for you, a user. The next key point is that we are already in the progressive stages of designing our next generation product to take full advantage of the new features that Windows 95 brings to you, the full 32-bit architecture. The whole DOS environment goes away in that next release of major release of Windows, which takes, as we go through some things, we still talk about limitations of only 99 files here and 95 or 99 files there from time to time. That's not a limitation in our ability to build our software, but a limitation that DOS still has. That we have other ways to work around in some cases where you need more than that, but it's still a limitation that comes out. So that's where we stand. As John identified clearly for you, the different products that we have in the marketplace today. Our real concept, though, is to be able to utilize this workstation called a PC to be able to give you access still to everything that you need on the production floor. If there's a... Maybe
Maybe you have to flip the other switch and it overrides that one, and turn up. Didn't work, right?
Yeah, it would help a little bit.
Modern times.
But it's to be able to get your full return on the investment of that PC in the shop. In other words, to be able to provide all the information that you need.
What'd you do?
There's another switch underneath.
Well, hell.
But it's really to be able to use that as a way to get as much information as possible. And you'll see as we show you the different products how we utilize the multimedia capability that Windows has provided for us and our ability to access over a network a variety of locations to get this information to the shop floor. But at the same time, it means that anything that you've already got in place that people need access to, the PC could still be architecture to be able to take and get to that environment also without interrupting our process or, you know, in other words, we don't dominate the PC when it goes in place. You don't have an island of technology at that point in time. And I'll show you specifically how we utilize text, graphics, and photographs. In the applied sim area, we handle the text and then all the graphics, and we have, right now, we're handling about 15 different formats, and by the end of next month, we'll be up to 152 different formats. About the time I thought it was going to get down to 2 or 3 standards, it exploded again with all the different plot files and scanning files that you get into, MIPS and BIPS and all that kind of stuff. We're supporting all of those. And then to be able to utilize multimedia approach of using photographs and voice information. And we do that in our applied sim product, tool libraries, connectivity to the tool presetters were required to be able to tie in your inspection first article BIOS if you utilize that, or any kind of document that has to be signed off by a group of people to be able to make that electronically available to people to sign off so it can simultaneously be on 4 or 5 people's desk, as it were, at the same time, opposed to the physical piece of paper having to be signed off by each one of the people in this room. And that's the concept that we're working with. Then we get into the DNC, and I don't think that's really important to you, although our ability to connect to that kind of equipment further reinforces our ability to be able to connect to anything that you want us to connect to, both to help facilitate getting the instruction set that might drive that piece of equipment, as well as then collecting the data for both SPC and other analysis that you may want to do. Our applied stats product, the key here is it's all self-contained. We do gauge R&R in our software. We do complete report writing in our software. We do the ability to handle what we call notebooks in our software. We handle auditors being able to come in and have a special password and have that identified at the specific time that they were doing it against the subgroup that was being worked with at that point in time. Those are standards in our product. The breakout is we sell variables, we sell attributes, and we sell short run. Okay, and you can buy any one of those 3, or you can buy them all together. But that's the only demarcation point as far as pricing goes. Okay, and then the ability that we take full ability of the Windows environment to be able to link into other products that are locations, databases where you want to have this data eventually stored away, to the ability to link to word processors or spreadsheets. We have had customers where they've been using one of the Windows spreadsheets as an entering point for people, and their people were real used to it. So instead of introducing a new front end to data entry, we just continued to use that and went right into our stats program. And then when anything was not meeting the requirements, it can come to the forefront, showing the charts, histograms, and allowing them to be able to attach cause codes at that point. And you'll see how we do that in our software. Then on the connectivity side of it, that's what we're committed to. I mean, obviously, hand gauges would be the most natural thinking pattern. But any other kind of equipment that's got information on measurements that you want to bring into the system, we feel that we can do that. And that's where I brought out some of these pictures. We actually have designed and built different gauge fixtures for customers. And this is a 3M customer. I'm not sure who this is, but it's a wire pool gauge that we did for a particular company. And this one's a special device we built for a company that was doing high-speed production of pharmaceutical containers that wanted to be able to bring them off and have visual inspections, and each one of these buttons represents a different attribute. And they can just hit on it, and it's going directly into the system and immediately alarms them if they have more than 3 of one defect out of that batch, or 10 maybe out of the whole batch of different defects. That'll immediately alarm them, and in fact will shut down the equipment and send messages over the network. So we're very good at working with customers to help them engineer the solution that's best for their operation. So that's where we come from. The other thing is, of course, then you've got different types of connections that you need, the digital, the analog. We work with all those. On other cases, more and more gauges have the RS-232 connection. Okay, simple on the hardware side of that, but there's still the fact is that each device may have a little bit different format for how that data comes in. And we have standard packages that do what we call either file parsing or serial port parsing. So when we attach to a PLC that may be sending us over 200 data items all at the same time through one serial port, that we have the software set up where it can parse that data out and send it to each individual chart that you've already set up. Okay, so we have the solutions in both cases, and we try to make the software side of that to be a universal solution, so that every time you come back to it or you want to add another device, we don't have to go build another device driver just to handle RS-232 connection. So
Connectivity is a real strength with this firm, because anything's got a signal or an output of a parameter or whatever. We'll get it connected and get it in there.
right. And you can talk to a lot of our customers. And I mentioned before that, like, for example, we have a gauge R&R capability in our software. Well, obviously, when you build gauges, you sign up to the fact you're going to deliver this with a repeatability standard it has to meet. So we use that software religiously for the buyout purposes on that. So that's where it gets well exercised. It's not a token effort. The tooling side of that, as John talked about, it really has two parts. It's the tooling, the tool inventories, as well as tracking your gauges for recalibration schedules and being able to notify you in advance based on a schedule you establish for when calibration needs to be done. It allows you to either to be able to then, when you complete that recalibration, it'll recalculate to the next date that it's going to be due for calibration again. To be able to set up your inventories on minimum reorder points, so it'll immediately alarm you when you're below the stocking levels that you want to maintain on any kind of tooling. And then you can tie that to your vendors. Who are the sources for this information? The system comes standard with Southwestern Gauge defaulting to the front of the screen every time, but John gets his hands on these things and I can't stop him. So, but if you want to know more about this, it's a very complete system as far as being able to track where the gauges are, to be able, or to track where your tooling is. If you want tooling and schedule it, then you put it on hold so it can't be issued to anybody but that work order, those kind of things. It's a very complete system in its own right. And then the preventive maintenance, of course, has demand maintenance tracking as well as preventive maintenance. Of course, with the demand maintenance tracking, it allows you to start to build a better understanding of what kind of preventive maintenance approaches you want to do, and tying this into our SPC system and seeing where are your biggest failures out there on the shop floor or production floor allows you to start to build this into the preventive maintenance program too. It also has a complete inventory capabilities, because that's one of the things that defeat a lot of preventive maintenance programs. You go out there and you schedule that equipment to be down on Saturday for 3 hours, and the next thing you know, somebody discovers there's not enough filters, there's not enough lubricants, and somebody has to make an emergency run, and the equipment's down 5 hours instead of 3 hours, those kind of things. This allows you to track that. And we've already talked about the different gauges that we've built for companies, and here are a few of the other companies we work with. We're a company that's very experienced. Like I say, we started in 1986, so we've been doing SPC and the kind of things we're talking about for all that time. We are experts in understanding the operating systems that we support, the networks that are out there that are with the different companies to work with. You'll find that we have companies that are using Windows NT as a file server with our software today. that we have people that are running on digital equipment, hardware, and Unix-based systems, and using those as file servers with our software. So we understand how to architecture that so that you can get full advantage of the architecture and the hardware investments you've made for your company. We do all the training. We typically like to come on site to do training, and that way we get direct involvement with the people and helping them understand our software application to their environment. And then our customer support, I think the best way to talk about that I'll get to in just a second. There again, we are the Microsoft solution provider. We think that's paramount that we be heavily tied to Microsoft today, because as companies are signing up to go in the Windows environment, their products need to be continuing to go forward with the Microsoft direction. And we will work with you at whatever level. I mean, as far as a full turnkey job, hardware, software, installation, training, even SPC basic training, and then the adaptation of our software to meet your needs. The other key item is that we do have over 500 customers in the country today, and we have customers outside the United States. I did not get a chance to look at my list to see whether we might even have a distributor that's working in the Dominican Republic for us. But we use, in that case, outside the United States, we are working exclusively with distributors and people that understand how to do business in these different areas. But we are worldwide, Asia and European, South America, Australia, places like that. And the other thing I'd like to point out, with 500 customers, then the other things I talk about, like our customer support and our smoothness of upgrades, that's something we can't hide. We can give you names of customers. You can call them and ask them when they call in for a problem, how responsive are we? When we send out a new release of our software, how painful is it to get it in and up and running? Obviously, we want to make it where when it gets here, it goes in. What you're running out there on the shop floor is not affected. The only thing you have to do is to think about any new capabilities we've brought to you that you want to now go down and train your people to be able to utilize. So with that, I'm going to jump out of this and go over into the live demo.
Before we get into software, any questions?
You're just wide open.
Pretty broad presentation.
I think your primary application for SPC initially is going to be on variable side of it.
Actually, both attributes.
Both attribute, okay. I'm going to go into a demo that's going to show the variable side first, then I can go into another one that shows the attribute side, and you can see some of the contrast from that standpoint. So let me do that. And here again, everything I'm going to show you right now is our applied stats system, okay? And what I've got set up here is a set of charts that are set up for 3 different variables, okay? An OD, an ID, and a length, okay? And then the chart is already shown here for the OD of the part. Now, if I want to go and look just at the different charts right here, I could go in and look at the OD, get to look at the length. Now, I mean, I could just glance at it. Obviously, if I want to look at it full size, then I just click on that, and now it goes to full size. And there again, had the ability to go and look at any one of the characteristics that I'm working with at any point in time.
Let me interject right here at this point. Jose, I don't know how much you've worked with Windows, and you guys probably have quite a bit of experience with it. Windows screens can get very busy. There's a lot of stuff, and it can be intimidating to a new user. Since it is a Windows environment, you have the ability to just have one thing on that screen. Okay? That's one of the strengths of Windows, that you can make it extremely busy, or you can make it very, very simple. That is user configurable through the system, not just our software, but through the capabilities of Windows. So, you know, as you're thinking about how my people are going to interact, you know, that can be tailored by yourself or whoever is in charge of setting it up to make it as simple as you want it. And as they progress and get more sophisticated, then you can make it more sophisticated.
Right. Now, one of the other things that we do along that line that I'll go ahead and show you right here is what we call short menus. If you look across the screen right now, I've got about 8 different headings across the top of the screen. If I go down through that screen, you'll see all these different items under each one of the headers here that we're going to talk about in more detail, even projects over here. But if I go over here, I can set up for each individual user what's called a series of short menus. And I just click on this and I can secure it. Now I've reduced the number of items across the page. And then, for example, if I want to go do analysis, I'm only allowing this person to look at charts and histograms. Now, a minute ago, that list included summary charts and scatter diagrams and Pareto analysis and a whole range of other things. But if this operator or this person that's using the system only needs to be using these two features, then that's how you set it up. And this is a very simple thing to set up. Because when I go into this, if I go down here to set it up, I go down under Preferences and Short Menus. Here are all the menu items I had across the top of that page. As I click on each one of them, all the items that are available show up on the screen. I simply go down through this and click on it, and it now turns on an asterisk. That means it's enabled. If I click on it again, it goes away, it's disabled. And for each individual, then you've got a set of menus that you want them to work with. So we think that's a very important feature of being able to keep the system, not because these are dummies that are using it, but the simplicity. We all use these products every day, and things that we use on a regular basis, we've already got in and set up to streamline that I got to give this report every day, so, or once a week or something like that. So I pull it up and I've already got a lot of things that are already set up that I don't have to do over and over again. So that's the ability. If I go in here and click on, I'm going to kind of step you through this without doing it, and then we'll go back and I'll do it in a minute. But when I click on Start, the system can prompt me for any kind of information you want to track against it. Serial numbers, who the operator is, what shift this is. Of course, date and timestamps are automatically picked up, but you have up to 17 items that can be collected at this point that can be sorted upon later on in the system. So click on that. It prompts me for any of that kind of information on the front end. Then it'll start to step me through the process of entering data. Now, I've got this set up where I'm going to do it from the keyboard, but if I were using it from any kind of measuring device that's directly tied into the system, then that would be what it would do, is prompt me for that, and I go put it, use the piece of equipment to put it in. Now, if it's an automated system, then we have what we call scanning. So the software is sitting there, and it could actually be taking a device, let's say, that's putting out 100% of everything it measured. Well, we could be taking that in, and we can either count and keep count and say, okay, you want every 50 parts, you want to take the next 5 as a subgroup, where we could put it in that way. Or that you want every 15 minutes for it to take the next 5 readings. Let's say we have a thermostat out there that we're monitoring a thermocouple or something like that to be able to take in temperatures. Then that we could be monitoring that and go in and every 15 minutes take the temperature readings for the next 3
Let's go
temperature
through
readings.
just a simple data collection sequence for Jose's benefit.
And okay, so what we've got here is right, and here again, the way the window comes up and where it comes up is set up by you on the window side. It's prompted me for a serial number. Okay, now the serial number, it'll always default to the last one, so that if it hasn't changed, you don't have to do anything. You just click on it. So anytime you are using the keyboard, we have the ability to try to limit the number of keystrokes you have to do. In this case, it's asking me for a lot number. Let's say that it's just changed, so I go to M88 and enter that. And I can do that from my pointing device or from the keyboard. Now, I'm dealing with thousandths is the significant digit that's changing. So the system defaults to that. So when I take this measurement, then I just enter the last 1 or 2 digits to enter the data. And what I'm getting is an immediate update over here for each individual measurement on how it's doing against the actual spec limits that you've set up. Okay, in this case I'm doing a subgroup of 3, and I've just done the first part of that 3. I've also done it OD, ID, length. Now, if this is a part where you have a setup for measurements, or it's too heavy to go and do all 3 at the same time, the software is easily configured where you do all the ODs for the subgroup, all the IDs, and all the lengths. So that's tailorable by each chart, so that you're not locked into having to do things in a certain area every time. And there again, if you're taking measurements from a device that's coming through, the data's coming through the serial port, that's where our serial parser would then take that data and parse it out to the locations. And all it's doing there is it helps you analyze the string of data so you can set it up one time and verify, that you throw away these first 3 digits and the next 2 are the OD and go through it and understand that. And so the system there again can go right back and be ready to take the next one, or ask me to click on it. If I have to set this down and pick up the next part, I may want to have it to have me click on it again before I take the measurements, so I don't inadvertently put some information in. And then I start taking the readings again. And because this is 3, I'll go ahead and do the third one so we can.
As he's prompting, as he gets the characteristic, or the traceability information out of the way, the characteristic you're doing is bold, made them bold so you know where you're at by a glance at the screen. And then your warnings and everything come up red, yellow, green, naturally for your spec limits.
Right. Now the system, I've completed doing my subgroup, and I have a variable that's didn't meet my criteria, and it's related to the length. Now it happens I already have the length chart up here, but you can see how quickly I could have gone to that if I needed to. And so I click on that. Now the system could be set up where it would automatically then present to me the list of cause codes for them to select from. Okay, and as I look at the different cause codes, then I can go and click on one of those, and the number 3 for this particular cause code has already been added to the control chart for you. And of course, at that point in time, when something fails in particular, I have the system come to the forefront with the chart for that particular characteristic. And as we looked at a moment ago, there again, all 3 of the characteristics, or the number that you're working with, would all be there, so you can look at the different charts. But as I look down through here now, I can see that these are the different subgroups. These are different cause codes that have already been entered to the system. We'll talk about these symbols here in a moment. I can go back. At any time I can go up here and I say, okay, well that started going kind of crazy. I wonder what the individual readings were. Well, I can come up, and over there on the left-hand side of the screen is an understanding of what time this was taken, what were the individual measurements that were there, what was the mean and average, okay? So that's all available to me. Now, if I'm interested in seeing how I'm doing as far as my different cause codes, I can immediately go here and ask for a Pareto analysis and have that presented to me on the screen for the different causes that I've been working with. And the same thing, if I want to understand my histogram on this, I just click on histogram, and it comes up on the screen. There again, I can go in here and look at for the OD, the ID, and the length, skewness, kurtosis, as far as the normality of the process is already calculated for me. The capability, the CPK, CPs are already calculated for me. And
PPK, which is becoming a more useful number now.
yes, it's presented for me on the screen. Let me close this.
Before we start moving off into analysis, I'll make sure Jose understands how simple it is for an operator. If you're clicking around, I think it's easy to get confused. Are you following how?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he would call up his job and bam, he's ready.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, anything that you want to see at this point, I'll be glad to just jump over there.
Where,
by the way.
when you collect this data, where is it being saved at? Is it being thrown into an ASCII file that is
Well, it can go.
specific for that particular part, or is it one large file? Kind of like Gauge Talker, does it organize the data the same way?
The data comes in the work is segregated several ways, the way you set the project up. You can have set up by files, you can set up information by projects. Projects being multiple files, multiple jobs tied. The data comes into a single file, yes.
Okay, such as this information that you're collecting right now, though, is that being read off of the RAM, or is that being thrown into the hard drive as far as?
Probably both.
It can be set up to do any way you want to do it.
So if we go and power down the PC right now and power it back up and pull this same job up, those points that you just entered would
That's
still
correct.
be there?
Yeah,
That's
they would be
correct.
there. Yeah, we have to be aware of a shop environment.
Right.
yes.
Right.
Now, that
One of the
data
things
also,
is-
because
yeah.
included with the package, and I mentioned file up, we'll just have this thing archived every 200 subgroups of 300, and it'll send it off and store it somewhere for you. Keeps it manageable.
So go back to the XBAR chart. So if I wanted to go back, I'm not sure, I guess this chart, as you collect more data, it just scrolls off.
Right.
So if you wanted to go back
Yeah,
the
see, we're
other
at
way.
one right here, and I think we got like 30.
You've
so
got
on
a scroll bar.
Right.
Okay.
Any Windows
Okay.
program.
I see.
You can also compress it.
Yeah, yeah, if you want to go in here and just kind of get a feeling for how this process has been running with all the data in there, it'll compress it down for you very quickly. Okay? Another
Now-
feature, go ahead.
I got one question, just for the data itself. There was a screen where you said you could go look at it, Pareto by defect or whatever.
Mhm.
Can you pull up just the data, the raw data?
Yes,
And then take it to an Excel spreadsheet or something?
yes,
In fact, it's,
Okay, and copy it into each column of your,
right. You
Okay.
can send it over there, and we can pull it back in, either way you want
once
to
you
do
flip
it.
over to somebody,
Meetings here,
Columns.
because it's showing me the date and the time it was taken, all the relevant information that you've collected related to it, and then the individual readings.
it's reading it by sample, by part.
To photographs of exactly how to measure parts, or how to identify the kind of problem that they may be having with the particular part. And you can take that and have it fit the window size, so you can look at this as closely as you want to. But as we start to maybe move over into the attribute side, you can actually see how we could use photographs here to help you further take I want to know the thickness of this pin cap, for example. I can take an outside diameter and the inside diameter, and the software would then do the calculation of the difference between the two divided by the measuring device to get that variable.
If you're familiar with working in spreadsheets, bracket it, divide
Right.
by 2 or whatever.
Got your measurements.
Just spreadsheet math, that's all it is. Anything you can do in Excel
Any
or
formula that
Quantro,
you want to
anything
do, or if you did a gauge R&R study and you found that you definitely had a factor that you wanted to put into the measurements because it's just consistent enough, deliver the native language. We have it in Italian and French right now. And so in those countries, they have both, so that when they have set them up individually for each chart.
You asked about color. You can turn off colored lines in the chart window, the yellow, red, green lines that are on the chart window, you can turn those off or on. You can use colored dots on the chart point so that when that point is plotted, it'll be colored, red, green, or yellow. So when that individual subgroup goes up there, it'll have a color. Also, when you're taking individual points before you're even going to the charts, you're going to get red, green, or yellow, whether the product is in spec or out of spec, and that's very visible on the screen, very visible.
We want a video of an atomic bomb blast every time there's a red point.